All right, boys and girls. Happy hump day. It is Wednesday. No, it's Thursday. I'm a day behind, a dollar short. January 18th. It's almost my birthday. But welcome to another episode of the People's Podcast. We have a phenomenal crew that's here to talk about NFL, legacy playoffs, awards, no ability leagues, the whole gamut. So I'm gonna bring them on one by one. And I gotta out of just respect, I gotta bring on the guy, the fake Hall of Famer, the General. Toucan. How you doing, sir? Welcome on. I hope you're enjoying vacation right now.
I am. It's peaceful. I'm not complaining, but hello and fuck you.
Yeah, welcome, sir. It's funny that you decided to dip out the week before your ass whooping from me was coming. It's okay.
I mean,
you
would. No. If we would have played, you would have quit. You would have retired.
I don't know about that, man. I cannot be retired. I do not quit. It's not in my DNA. Others, I don't know, but but the other co-host, the guy's been a long-standing podcast joiner at this point, so now he's earned the title as co-host. The real DK, Mr. Rico. How are you, sir?
Good. How about you?
Listen, man. Every week, every time you come on this podcast, your pictures are fucking phenomenal.
Thank you.
I just give you kudos, man. You do a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You lost. Did you lose today?
Yeah, I lost.
You lost today.
But I won.
I won. But you won. I understand.
But I won.
Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. The other guy that's joining our pod, Toddy loves him. He fucking has him blocked at least 6 of the 7 days a week consistently. Mr. Marnie, sir, welcome to the pod.
How we doing?
Good, man. Appreciate you being. You also took an L today to Cody. We had a bunch of L's on the fucking podcast right now.
I know.
To Cody?
Yeah.
Okay. I had my backups in. All right, let's relax. Bailey.
He had one backup in.
I had Bailey Zappi throw for 350 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
And you lost.
Dude, he was cooking. Yeah, but my defense was so fatigued it was not even funny. Just because my backups. We will talk
about fatigue. We will talk about the fatigue thing as well, because that's affected a couple games so far in the last couple of weeks. And then the guy who is responsible for this fucking reboot. All right, well, we'll bring MK on. Welcome, MK.
Fuck you, MK.
I don't know that you've won the hearts over of the league yet for the reboot, but you're here. Welcome, sir. How you doing?
Good. I'm very glad I had to leave with Martin Fry. Got kicked out. I mean, absolutely.
You're the reason I retired.
Damn straight.
That
was the whole
what? That is true. I'm not gonna lie.
What? We like MK again.
I miss having General in my fucking division. It was good. It was good competition.
Oh.
I like playing against guys like him in my division. And then the guy who makes everybody come.
Pause.
Listen, the guy's a legend.
Couldn't agree more.
Legend is stretching it.
Listen,
corny 24/7.
The guy who makes the pennies drop. We got Mr. DK. Welcome, sir.
What's going on? That was a suspect ass entrance, but I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go ahead and address everybody here one by one. Jorge's just the host. That's our main man. I can't diss him. He's doing a great job hosting this shit. General, the Brett Favre of Legacy. How are you, my man? We have the real DK, quote unquote. You're actually Mr. Horny yourself.
That's good.
MK, I got love for you, my man. We all make mistakes. And it was actually a blessing in disguise. Whether or not I got a shitty team or a good team, I would be saying the same thing. I can assure you. But I got the Eagles, and I appreciate you, man. A lot of Georgia players here. And then Marnie, That's my main man. Other than that, let's get
Yeah.
into it.
All right, fellas. So with that being said, we're going to talk a little bit of NFL ball first. So we had the wild card round just finished up. We're in the divisional. Let's recap what just happened. Obviously, the Cowgirls got their ass whooped
Can we not?
as expected.
We all knew it was coming.
Talk about
Can we not?
Eagles busted up as well. Steelers, I think some of us saw predicting those Steelers were going to have a tough hill to climb against the Bills
You competed.
in that round. Dolphins, I don't know if the Dolphins against the Chiefs was that a smack show, more of the cold weather, or
Tua
just
sucks.
choking. But I'll
Tua
kind of go
sucks.
around the room. What was your biggest takeaway from the wild card weekend? Toucan, I'm gonna start with you, sir.
I want to hang myself, and I'm pissed off that we kept Mike McCarthy. That dude fucking sucks. And fuck the Packers and fuck DK. But CJ
Alright.
Stroud looked really good.
CJ Stroud, I mean, that guy is a fucking bowler.
He looked real good.
All right. Rico, what about the Bills and Dolphins? And what did you think about that game? Or no,
I mean,
Bills and
My team won,
My
so I'm
apologies.
happy. I don't think we're gonna win again because we suck. But
But now you get to host the Chiefs
true, we've
instead
never
of going
done that in
to
the playoffs.
KC,
Mahomes' first playoff game. Oh, wait. Playoff game.
a road playoff game. Yeah,
I think this is the
Sure.
first time we
Very
played the
weird.
Chiefs in Buffalo.
Very weird to say that.
Yeah, definitely is. Marty, I know you're a big Steelers fan, man. How are you feeling after that Bills Steelers game?
I'm just proud that Mason Rudolph, went from getting booed to the fans chanting his name and bringing us to the playoffs. Like, we were down 21-0, but we didn't go back. We didn't go down without a fight. You know what I mean? Unlike Dallas and Philly. We made it kind of a game. I mean, what it was, made it kind of a game, and we need some big moves in the offseason. Maybe an offensive coordinator.
And a head coach.
Take my head
I mean,
coach.
that would be that'd be a surplus there. Okay, what about you, man? What do you think of this the first round of the wild card weekend in the NFL playoffs?
Let's see. So what was it? The first game was Browns Texans. CJ looked great. Flacco's a fraud, and I'm saying this to Jalen. Dallas.
Sucks. Dak
Why
sucks.
did we shouldn't have went? They shouldn't have went for the 2 seed if they couldn't beat the Packers. The odds to beat the Bucks would have been a little bit higher. The Packers own the Dallas Cowboys, like literally. Then Eagles Bucks. I'm glad NFC East is all home, sitting on the couch together. It feels like a big old family. Lions, Rams should have won in my opinion. And last game, I don't know the last AFC game. It must be irrelevant. Oh, Steelers and Bills. Bills are gonna win by a mile. Everybody knew this. But,
Starting to think
Yeah, so-
MK's a fake Cowboys fan.
I think so too.
I'm not a delusional old man. I'm sorry. I like to keep things short, sweet, and truthful.
This man hates me.
I don't blame him.
Wow.
Don't we all?
Just
That's
gonna
it.
throw out a quick stat for you here, guys.
I don't
There you
want to
go.
listen to this stat.
Packers
Oh.
fan here.
Give it to us. Give it to us.
We've got more playoff wins than the Cowboys in AT&T Stadium. Just go ahead and let that soak in.
Ooh,
Are you
Go ahead and let
serious?
that soak in.
Yeah.
that is
Yep.
They do.
It's 3 to
3
Actually-
to 2. 3 to 2 in the playoffs.
What
So-
the fuck?
That's not head. Well, yeah, I mean, just we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. And I know all the Packers haters are mad that we've got a third Hall of Fame quarterback in a row. It's okay. All right.
I mean, if he loses to the Niners like they always do, he probably is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
I'm definitely not liked anymore. Some bullshit.
So I will say I'll start off with the Eagles Bucks just because I was at that game.
Dubs.
You can tell early on the Eagles did not want to be there. They were fucking
No.
checked out.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how many of you guys actually watched the game on television, but but the body language during timeouts, TV timeouts, all that stuff. I mean, again, I'm a coach, so I pay attention to. I watch the game a little different than the average fan, and you can just tell they were checked out. They were done. They had no fight in them. When you saw David Moore score on that 40-yard catch where he's naked on a little pick play, and then you saw Trey Palmer kind of zigzag his way through the defense and score on like a 50-yard bomb. Effort. There was just no effort. There was none of that. Eagles were done. I don't know what the answer for them is. I figured the Bills were going to beat up on the Steelers. Missing J.J. Watt on that defensive line was going to be huge for them. They were going to have somebody else kind of really step up in that place to replace a guy that may win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that's factual. So when you're missing that kind of guy on the defensive line, you know, that has a way of fucking with you. The Packers in that Cowboys game was always a trap game for the Cowboys.
Yep.
The Packers are
Unfortunately.
always a sneaky team. They've got momentum lately. They got a young receiver core, which, you know, that young receiver core, you never know how they're going to show up. Some days they show up and they're fucking ballers, and other days they show up and can't get off a man press. Dobbs seemed to be that guy, right? Christian Watson coming back and playing in that game, I think caused problems for the Cowboys because they were more concerned with the speed vertically. And that
We
opened it
fucking
up for
played
Dobbs.
zone, dude.
And that's that's what you do when you're scared of someone beating you vertically. You tend to play more zone because you're afraid of that man-to-man getting beat over the top. And the
Yeah.
Cowboys just aren't a zone-based team. I mean, majority of their season
We're
they
man.
played man. They played
Yep.
man and got after the quarterback. And you saw Dan Quinn kind of revert to become something they're not, and they got exposed. And then of course you add the fact they're playing zone with Jordan Love seemed to have all day to throw the ball as he kind of scrambled around. You find pockets, and you know any average quarterback can find holes in
Hold up.
I mean, they can find some holes too, but they'll find some holes in that zone coverage, which you kept seeing Dobbs on those in routes, those dig routes, as you call them, find pockets. And Jordan Love found them all day, every day.
And to be fair, I think Jordan Love, even when they called man, I mean, we talk about the third down conversion to Tucker Kraft.
That was huge.
talk about
That was
this-
huge.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the zero blitz there in the red zone and just having the wherewithal to be able to take the hit and get it up to Wicks there. I think that was on Stephon Gilmore, which, I mean, yeah, he's getting older, but he's still a very good corner.
Look at this.
I
But
don't
that
know.
was great. But that was also great play design because bringing him in motion like they did to force a switch. The play was designed to pick on Gilmore and give him more of an outside look kind of release and then bend it back to the middle of the field, which is where he got that touchdown, that zero coverage you're talking about, DK. But I thought LaFleur called a great game, one of his best, if not his best so far. And Jordan Love, dude was on the money, man. Dude was on the money. The game that I was surprised that was as close was that Lions-Rams game. I don't know that
Nah.
everybody thought that'd be a 24-23 kind of ball game. What do you guys think?
I didn't think it was necessary. I mean, what did you think it was going to be? I thought it was going to be a good game. Personally,
I did too.
I thought the Rams would take it though, honestly. But
I didn't think the Rams had the firepower.
They didn't, but at the same
On
time
defense.
they did because nobody. Yeah,
On-
I get that.
on
but
defense,
but
to
nobody
stop
could
to
stop
the
Puka
Lions.
Nacua.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But the Lions have been notorious for scoring 30-plus points a game
Yeah, it's true.
and being
Yeah.
this juggernaut kind of offense. I knew the Rams were going to give the Lions problems with Nacua, with Cup, with Williams, the running back, the Stafford, and this. I knew the offense was going to keep the Rams in the game. I didn't see the defense of the Rams being able to hold on as well as they did against the Lions with all the firepower the Lions have offensively.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think
Uh,
for what the Rams have defensively and just personnel wise, I thought they did a phenomenal job.
They did.
And honestly, You know, you never want to say that one play decides the game, but when it's in a pivotal moment like that at the end, and Puka Nacua is getting held and interfered with and late hit, and I mean whatever else you want to call on that. Nonetheless, you can agree that there should have been a penalty on that third down. Kind of changes the outcome of that game. Maybe they get a conversion there. Obviously, a first down. They're probably able to soak up a little bit of clock. Whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, they take the lead, and now that puts the Lions in a money drive situation. Now, to the Lions' credit, who's their offensive coordinator? Is it Ben Johnston or something like
It's
that?
Ben Johnson. Yep,
Brian,
Ben
Yeah,
Johnson.
Ben
Brian-
Johnson. He's been an absolute monster, so I have no doubt that they would certainly draw up something good. You still got to execute at the end of the day, but I don't know what it just made the end of that game interesting.
So, good.
I didn't watch the whole matchup because I'm be honest, when Cowboys lost, I was about to get done with football for the rest of my life, especially NFL. But
That's a yearly thing for you fucking Cowboys fans. So.
Not me. I appreciate the game. This man's fake.
I mean, when you go Cedric Wilson dropping a ball because the A&T stadium is wide open, then you go to the blowout in San Fran, and then you lose to the Packers badly. It's just hard to watch football after. But losing Higbee was such
Yeah,
a
join the club.
losing Higbee was such a big moment for the Rams because Higbee's like when you think about that team, Higbee's the biggest safety blanket on that team. Like you show Cup, you show Puka, but that's who Stafford looks for when there's pressure and he needs to get rid of the ball, and he's really bad for leading all tight ends into like a dead zone. Like he's leading them into hits. He's really bad for that. And I think Kirby hitting him in his knee just like he hit TJ, took out his MCL and ACL, and he took out Higbee's MCL and ACL. I think that really hurt. It's like a gut punch, You losing your safety blanket. It would be the same thing if like when Cowboys lost Tony Pollard and he broke his ankle. You lost all your
Pollard
speed.
fucking
They
sucks.
got better when that happened.
Tony Pollard
Did it?
sucks,
I
dude.
mean, they ended up putting Zeke at center, so I don't think they got better than that. But I mean, it's the injury in the middle of the game hurt so much more than he got hurt pregame because then you game playing around pretty early. That really hurt, but that doesn't make up for a point. I think the Lions just had the grit to pull through. Meanwhile, like I really was hoping Matthew stuck it to the Lions, but I mean.
Nah.
The game turned it off at half. Last time I watched, I'm like, Lions about to win by 2 scores. I checked the score through Google, and it was a 1-point game. I was like, that's crazy.
So MK, I'll talk about that Higbee thing real quick because here's the problem that I guess I have with that. A tight end, in my opinion, is phenomenal for a young quarterback. When you have a guy like Stafford, who's been in the league for as long as he's been, you got 2 perennial receivers in Puka and Cup, and then you add Van Jefferson, or I think he got traded. You had Atwell. They have other receivers as well, and Akers, or not Akers. Williams out of the backfield is not a bad receiving threat. Also, I don't know that Higbee hindered the game as much as I think the Rams were playing not to lose, and the Lions were playing to win, and you saw that in the play call on that last drive where they threw the ball to get the first down. A lot of teams play conservative. They run the ball 3 times and say, hey, we'll play bend don't break defense and hope we don't lose. Especially with a guy like Dan Campbell, who's a defensive guy. They chose to roll the dice, throw the ball to Mon St. Brown, and they got the first, and that's how they won the game. To me, the Rams didn't do enough of that with their play. Now, again, I think roster-wise, they've exceeded expectations because I can't name more than 5 guys on that fucking defense.
On who?
For the Rams.
They have a lot of rookies who are already in their mid-20s, like 24-year-olds. Like they have Young has been their best rookie, and that's kind of sad because they have some really good rookies in that team to a point. Of
Yeah,
a
but they
team that
made the right moves.
No, no,
Yeah.
for sure they did.
Like preseason, nobody had this team going
Nowhere
back.
near.
Yeah.
Nowhere near.
Well, they traded away Jalen.
That's what I'm
They
saying. Like
had to
they
shed the
people thought
cap.
they were gonna shit the bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They had to shed the cap. They had to get back on the bright side of the money. They traded a shitload of draft picks to win the bowl they won.
Yeah.
So,
But they did it-
This was
but this
was
time-
that consequence year of
Yeah.
hey, you trade your shit away, you spend all this money. This is what happens. But they still found a way to finagle their way into a playoffs.
Yeah, Sean
so for
McVay is just
sure,
he's a brilliant coach, and he's going to be that Rams coach for a while. You know what I mean? He's just
Yeah.
he knows his stuff. Out of all the young coaches, I think he's definitely probably one of the best. If not
this
the
year
best
was
young
definitely
coach.
one of his best coaching efforts he's done in all of football.
For sure.
To
Absolutely.
take that type of team into
They were
playoffs.
3-6. They were 3-6. at one point.
Right. And it stared down a top 5 pick, and people thought they were throwing games on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the Rams' problem is they have such a good coach that they can't fail. What he coached, not glazing McVay, but what he coaches is straight winning football. And you're
He's
trading
been
your
to 2
picks.
Super Bowls.
You're trading picks to get to Super Bowls. You're trading, a player like Jalen Ramsey. You thought it was past your Super Bowl odds, so you trade Jalen Ramsey, and you still make it to the playoffs. It was to an extent that maybe Geno getting hurt altered that. But you got to think, it's such a good coach. Same thing with Mike Tomlin. He's such a good coach
Yep.
that losing football is not in his blood. It's not in his coaching. It's not in his system. It's just something he doesn't do. And it's hurting the team. At the end of the day, it's going to hurt the team. And it was kind of the same thing for Variable. It's just he just was barely missing playoffs. It's at one point these teams are going to halt, just like Belichick, and they're not going to be able to improve with players. They'll improve through play. They'll have mediocrity and their players, and they'll still be a good team. But you're going to need to finally draft that top 10 game changer. I mean, and the Lions have drafted a lot of top guys. If you look at their class, like they took Campbell. Yeah, it was Campbell and Gibbs in the first round. And Gibbs, almost had 1K and 10 touchdowns? No, not 10 touchdowns. He was up there. And that's with them running with Montgomery. And then Campbell, linebackers are very hard, especially with safeties playing in the box. Like, you need to draft high. That's my opinion. I think the reason they lost isn't, because they didn't have that top guy, but it's because it got to the point where the Lions, their team as a whole, was just better than the coaching difference. And Campbell's a great coach. The coaching difference is barely anything. So Lions players really won the game. And Campbell's grittiness of not being scared to do what he has to do. Same thing. You see, lost Dallas, fourth down conversions, 3 of them in a row. Got one flag. Threw a pick on the second one. There was a flag on Micah. Last one in the game. I mean, any other coach would be like, oh, let's take the field goal, second one. We'll try to overtime. But he has the grit and the balls to do what it takes to win. That's going to that passing part. So I think that's why the Lions, and they haven't even had C.J. Garner-Johnson in a long time. They missed him most of the season. I mean, they're a good team, and their coach isn't scared. I think he trusts his players a lot, maybe too much. Because they'll tell him, just go for it. And he'll go for it. Let's air it out. That's my
McDermott's a
opinion.
pussy.
Who?
Sean McDermott.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a little questionable sometimes.
McVay?
Here's a question.
McDermott.
I'll ask this question for the group. If Stafford was a Lions quarterback today, with the same roster the Lions have,
They'd be the 1 seed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
is that
yeah,
that
I think-
consensus?
They'd be the 1 seed.
Maybe yeah.
They'd be better than they are today.
I think Stafford's a better game manager than Goff,
Yeah.
and with the weapons that Goff has,
I think Stafford can
Are
win
we?
you games.
Whoa, hold on. Are we saying Stafford is a game manager?
No.
Stafford's a gunslinger.
Gunslinger. Wait.
Got to remember,
all
DK, these
I
guys are
said
young.
was he's a better game manager than Jared Goff. That's
Also-
all I said.
Also,
That's all I said.
But to say that the Lions would be a 1 seed. I mean, I don't know. That's tough. You think that they'd be better than the 49ers are?
29ers are frauds.
I think
Fuck, they're a little
Goff
hot.
loses them games because Goff just has games where he is
Yeah,
back
Goff
to
is-
same old Goff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think Goff. I'm not saying that Goff is on the same level with Stafford, but I don't think that they're that far apart. Now, maybe if we were having this conversation a couple years back, yeah, I would say you're losing your fucking mind to myself if I said that. But Stafford's dealing with injuries. He's getting a little bit older. I think he's one of those quarterbacks who may not have the longevity that we've seen out of maybe a Rodgers or a Tom Brady. I think he's going to have more of a kind of a maybe longevity similar to Ben Roethlisberger. Maybe not go as long, and that's maybe just part of his grit because of the injuries he's had to deal with, and kind of the toll it takes. Not to say that Ben Roethlisberger's had a ton of injuries, but you could just see his mobility was not there. He was a statue in the pocket, and just wasn't able to move around, and just kind of deteriorated at the end of his career.
I in
Oh,
my
hold on,
opinion,
real quick. When I said game manager, right? Did the Rams win the Super Bowl because of Matt Stafford?
no, it was one of the boringest Super Bowls ever.
Cooper Cup.
What the Rams Bengals was elite, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah,
No, that
so-
makes me probably
no,
think of the
no,
fucking
I'm-
Patriots
I'm
Ram
talking
games,
about-
probably.
So
I
you
thought
said,
Bengals
hold
had the
on.
ball.
So you said Cooper Cup. Who's got to give him the fucking ball?
The
Somebody.
center. Technically the center.
Oh my gosh.
But
And
yeah,
then maybe
let
the
me ask
ball
you,
boy, the
did
ref.
Stafford win that game for the Rams, or did something else win the game for the Rams?
No, Stafford.
Stack.
Stafford
Aaron Donald
drove.
stacked.
Are we
Won the
gonna
game.
take one game to indicate the success of
Yeah,
a
but he was
year-long
great all year.
season?
He was great all year that year.
He
I
was
mean,
a top
I'm
5
saying.
quarterback that year.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I put it back to the situation where if you put him on this Lions team now, that's what he's just a better manager than Goff. Goff is so bipolar. It's
Well,
ridiculous. You
What I
don't know
think
you're
DK
really
is
getting
trying to
with Goff.
say, what I think DK is trying to say is that Stafford is not a game manager. Stafford is the reason why you win games, not the reason why you lose them.
I guess I'm just
Correct.
using the definition wrong.
Golf is the guy where, hey, it's 3rd and 12, run a draw, run a screen, punt the ball, let's play defense. Stafford is a guy 3rd and 12.
Chucks that fucking thing.
We're gonna chuck it and throw a seam route in between two fucking guys, get 16 on a 3rd and 15, and keep the chains moving. Because we have the
I guess I'll
confidence
put it.
that
I'll
he
put
can,
it that way.
he
he's a
can
better-
sling the ball and he can get it there when it matters most. I don't think so. And
you know what, let me
it's
take that back.
intentional. Golf is not going to win you games, but he's not going to lose you games. Right,
No,
because he's going to
absolutely.
manage the game, play defense, play turnover-free football, take the dumps, move the clock, do those type of things, where Stafford will win you and will you a game when your team is not performing. I think that's, in a nutshell, what DK was trying to convey.
Yeah,
I would
I
agree.
think what I want to rephrase. I think Stafford's a smarter quarterback than Goff.
I think they're both smart.
I
just think they
so
both
too, but I
have-
would rather have if I had to pick between Goff and Stafford right now, I'm picking Stafford on
I
this,
agree.
on
All day,
this
every
Lions
day.
team.
All day,
Yeah.
every day.
Correct.
All day, every day. And I think all of us would. Stafford is going to win you more games. He's going to lose you. Goff is going to protect you more than he is going to win you
Yeah,
games.
exactly.
But the problem
He's
is
gonna hand
Goff
the ball-
does lose them games.
Right. No, and so to that point, here comes my follow-up question. And we got the other bald man join the podcast, Mr. Julian. Welcome, sir.
Baldies unite.
Who's the first one?
Baldies Unite. The only one that's missing is Cozy's quarterback.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the Bucks are going to travel now to Detroit to play this game. I think, again, I'm slightly biased because I am a diehard Bucks fan, but I truly think the Bucks have the capability of going into Detroit and winning the game.
I agree.
I agree.
I think the Bucks have the defense
that's-
to
I-
make Goff's life miserable and force Goff to win the game. Force
I
Goff
think-
to have to make the throws. Now, again, we played Goff before. We played the Lions in Tampa, and they flat out beat our ass. We're a different team than we were before. But with that
Fingers
being
got
said,
swag.
well, swag, there's a couple different
They're
pieces that
baking.
are playing now. There's a couple different pieces that are making plays now compared to before.
Mike
I
Evans is
think the
catching the ball.
Bucks.
No,
Well,
he's not. He's
Mike
dropping it.
Evans, he's always had an issue with that, including last week against the Eagles. But with that being said, I think the Bucks have a when I look at the sports app, because as you guys know, I'm a gambling addict. The Bucks are almost a 7.5 point underdog going into this game.
Yeah, what is Vegas trying?
That's a
What
lot.
is Vegas trying to do with us?
Now,
Jorge?
again-
tell me, Jorge. What does Vegas want?
That sounds familiar. That was a Packers Cowboys thing.
Listen, yes, and we were
fishy.
almost a 5.5 point underdog against Philadelphia when it opened.
And then you guys went to 1 point underdogs.
It got a lot of money came in late on the Bucks, and it got bought down to it closed at like 1.5 points.
Mhm.
Eagles are
Yep.
still favored, but with that being said, the line shows a lot of confidence in the Lions at home. What do you guys think as far as because I think out of all the games, this is probably the most I had to say the most
Exciting.
competitive.
Least
Game.
anticipated.
Yeah, that's going to happen this week because I think the
Which is probably gonna be
49ers
the
and
best game.
Packers. It will. I think the Packers and 49ers will be the second best game. I think the NFC
Chiefs?
side for sure will be highly competitive. But
Chiefs
what do you
Bills
guys think?
should be
I don't. I think Ravens,
Um,
Texans.
Toucan, I'll
Okay,
start
I
with
mean,
you,
whoever wants to
sir.
go first, yeah.
What was the question?
Lions, Bucks. What do you think?
I think you're going to surprise them, but I think you guys are going to lose. But I think it's either by 3. It's not going to be over 7. It all depends. I think you guys are going to definitely surprise them. I think the media's going to hype up the Lions like they did Dallas against the Packers, and then the Bucks are going to surprise. But I think you guys will lose.
All right, Rico.
I think probably around the same thing. But I would not be shocked if they won. I would not be
Okay.
shocked if Goff came out and threw it.
Yeah, honestly, if I was a betting man, and I am, and I may, with us kind of talking about this, I may put a little bit of money there on the Bucks. Curious to see what that money line is at the moment. But yeah, I honestly, if I had to pick a winner to that game, I would pick the Bucks. Now you may have the, if we're
Right
looking at
now,
coaching,
I don't mean
Go
to
ahead.
interrupt you, but right now it's at 6.5 points. The Lions are
Ooh.
favored.
I'm definitely taking the spread. I know Jorge's got a little bit of disgust on his face because he thinks that's a little disrespectful. I think
It is,
if
but
anything,
again, as a betting man, I'm taking the Bucks plus 6.5.
I agree. I would slam that. And to be quite honest with you, when we're talking about this matchup, I think if the Lions do win, worst case scenario, it's going to be by 3, 4, 5 points, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or by 10 points. I don't think it's going to be a sure-handed thing. This game is going to come down to the wire, and I wouldn't be afraid to take the Bucks. We saw what that defense did to the Eagles team last week, and don't get me wrong, obviously the Eagles were, Jorge
the
pointed
Eagles.
it out.
We're halfway checked out.
Yeah, they were halfway checked out, and obviously didn't have all their playmakers, so on and so forth. But you could see that, Todd Bowles was dialing up a couple things there to where if Jalen Hurts is going to be uncomfortable with that, and again, injuries, he was also injured, but we know that Jared Goff does not have the arm talent to overcome
Right.
some of
Or the
these
running ability.
throws, or the running ability to not only avoid the pass rush, but also have the arm talent to throw off his back foot, to flick it real quick, to kind of get a jump pass if he needs to, or something, anything along those lines. Jared Goff, as we've already established, is just a game manager. So it's going to be interesting how that kind of develops. I think that's going to be the biggest matchup is, the two strengths of these teams being the Lions offense versus the Bucks defense. Todd Bowles, versus MCDC. We're going to see what happens there. Really more so Todd Bowles against Ben Johnson, but we'll see what happens there.
MK, Marnie.
Adding
I'll go next, but
some things
Go
DK
ahead.
said is I think when it comes to the Lions, they're a really good team, but they have not problems, but situational problems. Like if you force the Lions to any passing down that is longer than like 6 yards, you kind of just have to cover Jameson Williams and tackle Amon when he gets the ball. I mean, like you said, Jared Goff, his arm, his legs, they're not something you go, wow, that's crazy. He needs to set his feet. He needs his full body. He needs to pressure is so fundamental in this game. And I also think on the other side of the ball, Lions DBs, if Mike Evans and Baker show up, we could see a game where the Bucks win by 10, because you have to cook on that you need that connection. Kind of how the Dallas lost. They didn't have the connection coming into the game. If CD would have been on fire in the first quarter, like he was kind of coming out of halftime, it would have been different. But
Fuck excuses.
Bucks, if Mike Evans comes out and just shreds them in the first half, then Mike Evans gets all the attention in the second half. Then you got speed guys, if anything. Trey Palmer, he's sneaky fast. Then you got Chris Godwin, who can arguably be a top wide receiver. If Baker shows up, if they force Baker to play dangerously, that's the problem. But if Baker plays safe football and just throws good passes, that's all that matters. And if Mike Evans catches the ball, that's what matters. That's who needs to show up. You need QB and wide receiver 1 to show up, and then you need to force Goff to have to throw it more than 5 yards. That's all.
So
I'm about to cook real quick, but go ahead.
Marnie, go ahead, bro. Cook.
I'm gonna keep it nice, short and sweet. I think with how the NFL works and how the playoffs work and how momentum works, we've heard players from the Rams and Lions game that I think home field advantage is going to be one of the biggest things, one of the biggest factors in this game.
For sure.
Detroit was loud. I mean, they were very, very loud for their first playoff win in 32 years. They were very loud. If the Bucs were home this game, then I could see what all you guys were saying, but unfortunately they're not, and they're going to Detroit. If we look at the stats between that
real
game,
quick, I'll stop you real quick. I will say the Bucs have a better road record than they do home record.
I gotcha. So, when they played, the Bucs were just completely outplayed. I mean, Baker didn't even throw a touchdown. Rashad White didn't get going. Chris Godwin was the leading receiver with 77. Tampa Bay couldn't stop him. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he had 12 receptions, 124 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Goff completely went off, throwing over 350-plus yards, 2 touchdowns, and he threw for 44 times. So I think what MK said was completely false. I think I just think the Lions are – I think there's a reason why this game is Sunday, the early Sunday game. And I think this game is I think it's just going to be a blowout by Detroit. I think Detroit wants this game so bad that either if Green Bay beats San Fran, I think they're going to want it even more because they're going to be hosting an NFC Championship game the next Sunday. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine that? Holy
regardless, they want this game bad. They know what this means to the fan base. They know what this means to the team. And I just don't see this game being. It might be close in the first half, but if anything, Detroit just lets it out and wins it in the second half. But
You're hot.
So here's what I'll say, Marnie, in response to that. In the playoffs, experience in the playoffs plays a big role. The Lions have not achieved what they've achieved so far in a very, very long time. The Bucs are the only team in the NFC to make the playoffs 4 years in a row. In the last 4 years, the only team to be in the playoffs each year have actually been the Bucs. Of all the teams that were in the playoffs last week, not now, last week. So experience will play a role. The fact that the Bucks have actually been road warriors, call it, plays to their advantage. Now, you mentioned Amon St. Brown went for what he went for. You mentioned Goff went for when he went for. When we played the Eagles, they ran for 210 yards down our fucking throats. They ran for 30 yards last week combined. Hurts,
Yep.
Swift, company. Now, different Eagles team. I get it.
Way different Eagles team.
But again, that
Because
offensive
listen,
line didn't
you could
change.
argue, you could argue that the Eagles were figured out after they lost the Niners, and I think everyone knows that.
Yep.
I mean, literally, Nick
don't-
Bosa literally said it that they put the blueprint on how to beat the Philadelphia
You're
Eagles,
right.
and they went. Then they showed why they sucked. I mean, I could see what you mean.
There's no one on the Lions that, if I'm a coach for the Bucks, scares me.
I don't know about that, man.
I
Who?
think it-
Yeah.
Who would
Aiden
scare you?
Hutchinson-
Monra.
Who
Jameer
Monra,
Gibbs would be
crazy.
a nightmare.
Even
for-
David
for
Montgomery,
that
he could get
defense.
hot.
Montgomery isn't doing anything against that Bucks D line, but Gibbs will. And if
You
Gibbs
gotta-
gets going,
Yeah, but Montgomery's a monster.
Yeah, I think Montgomery's
He's
more of a threat
fucking-
than Gibbs.
not
I'd
even
say-
against that D
Yeah.
line.
and I
man.
hear that, but the Bucks have actually been stout against a run for years, not
Yeah,
just
but
this year. And
Gibbs
even
isn't
in that
that-
game where we played the Lions, they had 70, 80 yards rushing,
What week
which
was
is
that?
below average. That was my other point, Julian. That was like week 4.
Yeah. Like, Gibbs
Which is
wasn't
very
touching the
all-
ball that much.
True.
Not in week 4. It's just a different play style for like
For
run up the
both,
middle
but
between the
I think that's
tackles.
for both of them. I think for both
Montgomery's
teams,
going to
it's different.
struggle against the Bucks.
Yaya Diaby didn't play. Chainsey didn't play. Levante David played half the game. There was no Jamal Dean. There was no Carlton Davis. The Bucks were missing 6 starters on defense when we played that game, and we lost 20-6.
I mean,
I give the
I
Lions
just-
a ton of credit on defense for what they did.
I just don't
They
like
shut-
your God.
No, you're good.
I just didn't really like the example about like playoff experience. I mean, like as far as like I could agree with you to a certain extent, but they played the Rams, who when they went on their Super Bowl run, they went.
But
into
again,
Tampa
the
Bay.
Rams, we talked about earlier, the Rams have a depleted defensive team. That defense for the Rams is not very good.
It's Donald and a
we-
bunch
we-
of
we all
Walmart employees,
agreed.
guys.
But it
Right.
was good enough.
We
It was
agreed-
good enough to
We
compete.
agreed that the Rams
Hold up.
played
hold up.
above expectation.
They're in the NFL for a
Correct?
reason.
I agree.
Well, okay,
but
that's-
the Rams played above expectation and took the Lions to the wire in a 1-point game.
Yeah, but was that because of the defense or because of the offense? I mean, it's not like they got held to nothing. I mean, it was a tough team, and the Rams defense isn't that bad. They're not great.
It's not. It's really
But
not
Bucks
that. bad.
Okay, so hold on, Julian.
Bucks defense isn't that
Name
great
me
either.
name me 3 players that play for the Rams.
Aaron Donald's.
John
let me-
Johnson.
Let me check my
The
Madden
third.
rosters.
Yeah.
here.
No.
Yeah.
We're not checking
That's
Madden rosters.
crazy.
Mitch. Okay.
Byron Young.
But that's my point. Is if I asked you to name 5 guys that play for the Lions defense, you can name 5 off the top without a problem.
Well, because of Gordo, he wants to brag about his Lions defensive
Well,
players.
yeah,
But go ahead.
sure.
Like, if you look, all right, so the Lions, one of the lowest rushing attempts games was against the Bucks. They rushed 22 times, right? And they had to pass for a majority of their first downs. That's where you got to stop them. Is if you force them to pass for all their first downs, you have better luck stopping Jared Goff throwing the ball in the air than you have stopping the Gibbs and Montgomery. See, Gibbs, like you said, who you worry about? The only thing I worry about is if you get Gibbs in the open field, the yardage does not matter. He's most likely going to get it into the red zone. That's the problem. You have to kind of slow him. You got to stop the Jameson Williams, which I don't know if he's fully healed from when he got hurt again. What was it, week 16, 15?
He played that week against the Bucks.
Yeah,
He
but
caught,
is he fully?
he caught
Is
like
he
a
fully
50
healthy?
yarder.
Yeah, he's one of the reasons. Well, that was the week he came back. He's one of the reasons that the Lions
They won
won.
the game. Oh
But
yeah.
you got to think they were, in football terminology, they were blowing out the Bucks and only ran 22 times. Most teams run 30 times and they have more than 2-score leads, and that's one of their lowest rushing games. So the running games matter for the Lions. Having Goff throw matters. That's what matters because he'll make a mistake. One interception for Goff is like 3 for a regular quarterback because him and a mistake is very low. I mean, that's what, like Marty said, he's what takes the Bucks. I mean, he's what takes the Lions just because of the way they played last and who they are and the energy there. But I mean, most of the times when a team plays the second time, so through all this season, like the last 5 years, the team that lost the first time has a higher percentile to win the second time. Plus, the Bucks have been a better team on away. I don't think the noise of Detroit is going to scare them. I don't think them going for Ford Field scares them.
no.
All right.
That won't worry them at all.
Yeah.
I don't
That
think
doesn't
you
Now, hold
realize
on.
how
Hold
much
on.
momentum the Lions have right now over
No,
the
hold
Tampa Bay
on.
Buccaneers.
Hold on, guys. Let's slow our roll here. Now, here's something that MK touched on when he initially spoke, and he said, all you got to do is tackle Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, that sounds great in theory. That sounds great in theory. But just as Julian kind of touched on when Jorge said, I'm not scared of anybody on that Lions team, I think I would be very scared of Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's probably one of the best route runners in the league, and we know what he can do in the open field. Now, that's why he's such a good pairing with Jared Goff, because no, they're not dialing it up 30, 40-yard bombs down the field. And Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't exactly your speedster either, but it's because of those short routes. It's because of a quick curl. It's because of a quick stick. It's because of a quick slant, drag, whatever. You can get the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown in a variety of ways. And if you listen, I'm not comparing this Lions offense whatsoever to the skill or the personnel of the 49ers. But if you just kind of take a step back.
Oh no, there's similarities.
Yeah, exactly. You take
There's
a
a
step back, it's like
ton of
49ers light. It's like the 49ers light.
Yeah.
You got Sam Laporta, that's your broke man, George Kittle, who can't necessarily
Which
block as
he's
well, but is a
doing.
receiving threat. You've got Jahmyr Gibbs, who is great in the open field, can come out of the backfield and catch the ball like a Christian McCaffrey. You've got an Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is a great route runner and great after the catch like a Deebo Samuel. And you've got a Jameson Williams, who maybe is not the best run blocker, but he is a receiving threat. And so that's just kind of how I look at that offense. So to say that nobody scares you on that offense, I do think is a little bit too far by Jorge. And then on the flip side of that, Amon-Ra St. Brown is not easy to tackle in the open field. So there's a lot of things there. But if anybody can, the Bucks have the run defense to do that. We all know Vita Vea. We all know there's a plethora of guys on that front that they rotate. Todd Bowles does a great job of that. And then we got guys that can't tackle in the open field. You've got a Levante David. You've got a Devin White. You've got a physical safety in Antoine Winfield. I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than maybe Marnie was anticipating. And I would take the spread personally.
That's why I said it. You got to get that third. You got to get him on 3rd and long. Because Amon, I mean, he could break one tackle and get you an extra 3 yards, but that's why you need that 3rd and long. That's why I said the first time. You got to get that 3rd and long. You need to sack them. And they won the sack game in week 4 against the Lions. You just have to get pressure. And like you said, Levante David is probably their best tackler, and he played half a game. Right? If he plays a full game, that kind of shuts majority of the middle and shuts down a lot of broken tackles for Amon. Amon's a break. He's a break one tackle and get you a couple extra yards. He's not a guy I'm expecting to juke, break another tackle like Deebo. I mean, he's a guy. If you make your first contact, you're down.
He definitely could.
I think
Oh,
there's
for sure.
probably
No,
You aren't giving him enough
definitely
credit.
an athlete.
he's Amon-Ra is great. He's probably he is a top 10 wide receiver, probably now in today's league, maybe 12. But you don't worry about him burning you. You worry about him shrugging you off because he's kind of
Amon
He's a
St.
slippery
Brown is
guy.
a chain moving receiver.
Correct.
He is the safety blanket for Jared Goff. When he's in trouble, when he needs a guy, that's who he looks for. And that dude wins his matchups 9.5 out of 10 times. He's going to get open enough. And he's savvy enough. He understands defenses enough to find a hole and get the first down. And you're right. Does he scare me, to DK early to my comment? I'm not worried about St. Brown as a vertical one-play touchdown guy. I think in order for the Lions to beat us, they're going to have to put together a 8, 9, 10-play drive consistently. I think that's how they beat us and wear us down and make it a fourth quarter game where they're up a score or two and they make critical plays. They have a very aggressive head coach, maybe a fake punt, maybe going for a fourth down in their side of the field, or those kind of things that kind of win you games or lose them. But their coach is aggressive and they believe in their offense, and that's the kind of things that show up in the playoffs. Moving on to the 49ers and the Packers. I know we have a couple Packer fans here. What do you guys think about that game? That game right now, DK, from a spread perspective, is actually the highest spread. The 49ers are favored by 9.5 points.
Jesus Christ.
That's
today.
certainly, I think that's a tougher spread to analyze because obviously we know what the 49ers are. They got a great coach. They're a very sound team. I think where their weaknesses are, or maybe their offensive line isn't as stout as it used to be, losing Mike McGlinchey. Aaron Banks isn't as consistent. You got, I forget who the guys are on that right side of that O-line. They're just not as strong. And so that may be where we have a little bit of an advantage physically speaking. That 49ers O-line is probably one of the weaker O-lines they've had in recent memory. So we need to be able to take advantage of that. We also need to be able to.
Kenny Clark needs to have a fucking phenomenal game.
Him
Gary,
and
too.
Rashawn Gary off of that left side is going to be a great matchup. And Preston Smith is no slouch, but he's going to be going against what's his name? That left tackle was
Trent
Williams.
Trent Williams. Yeah, Trent Williams. We already know what Trent Williams is. So it's really going to come up to, and I'm sure they'll rotate a little bit, but for the most part, Rashawn Gary does come off of that left outside linebacker, right side of the O-line. He's coming off of that side. And, Kenny Clark is going to be a force up the middle. He's not necessarily the guy that's going to compile a bunch of sacks, but he's going to get that pressure up the middle. And pressure up the middle, we've seen can bother any quarterback in the league. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Exactly. We need to be able to run the ball well. And if we kind of look at a little bit of the zone running against the 49ers, this is another down year for them as far as expected yards against zone running. So we need to be able to take advantage of that. And then there was one other thing that I wanted to touch on. Does not come to mind. But at the end of the day, if you just kind of take a look at, what they have on paper compared to us, obviously we know the 49ers are a better team. It's going to be at home for them. They're going to be hyped up. The only issue that I see is when is the last game for the 49ers that they've played meaningful football? We have to go back maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months. If you take a look at their schedule, when is the last time they had to actually go into that game and think that, man, we may not, come out with a win this week? Take a look at their schedule. It's been pretty easy. Had that
the Ravens
against
game.
the Eagles. Ravens game for sure. But I think, one bad loss, especially being in the other conference, is something that you can kind of wipe off and be like, that's just one game. And hey, worst case scenario, if we do see him in the Super Bowl, we're going to have plenty of time to kind of prepare for that.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
So here's the thing for me.
Real quick. I'm sorry, Jorge. Let me just to go off that, right? The Niners went before the Ravens loss. They beat the Jaguars 34-3, beat the Bucks 27-14. They had 25 plus points before and then they scored 19 against the Ravens. So does it really come down to what you just said? Like, how are you so great for 6 weeks straight and then you perform like that? You know what I mean? Is it really just one bad loss, or is it just like, was that team figured out? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I'm going to ask you that. Is that team going to show up against the Green Bay Packers?
Well, I mean, what are you getting at here?
I guess I was trying to go at the fact that if the Niners were just one bad loss? Like, was that? I guess like my real question is, is that just an excusable loss against the Ravens? Is that what you were saying? Like
Let's
they could
play.
just
Let's no. Hold on. Let's
they
just
could
go
just
ahead
brush
and
that off?
play. Let's play devil's advocate here. Okay.
Okay.
We've got 49ers versus the Bucks. I think on paper we can certainly agree the 49ers are a much better team. 49ers versus the Seahawks, dealing with all the injuries that they are. 49ers versus the Eagles. Okay, they did their thing, right? That's a game they got up for. You can agree that they got up for the Ravens game as well. Outside of that, you've got Seahawks, Cardinals, Commanders, Rams, which a game that didn't matter. They had the 1 seed. So I just don't think in the last, I mean, let's say we go back to week 13. That's December 3rd. Since December 3rd, including December 3rd, that's when they played the Eagles.
Yep.
They played 2 meaningful games. Now you have a little bit of rust. We see this all the time with 1-seeded teams where they come in and there's a little bit of rust for maybe that first drive, maybe that second drive. I'm not saying that they're not going to be ready. This is a 49ers team that's experienced. They've been in the playoffs multiple times. We've seen Brock Purdy excel at a high level. Not to say that it's not possible that they'd blow us out. That certainly could happen. And maybe last week is just a fluke by Jordan Love. I'm just saying, in order for you to, let's say you're either betting on this game with the Packers spread or you're envisioning a Packers win, that's what you kind of see for a little bit of optimism or a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel if you're trying to see it from that perspective. At the end of the day, this is the 49ers team that's well coached by Kyle Shanahan. They've got a great staff over there. Obviously, they've got playmakers all across the board that can take any 5-yard pass to the house. So that's just kind of where I'm coming from with that approach.
I got you. I guess where I was going with that was you kind of just brushed off that Ravens game in a way where it was meaningful because it was the 2 top contenders in each conference going at it, and it just seemed like you said the Niners were going through an easy schedule, but their most recent competitive game was against the Ravens. That's what I was really going at.
I get that. Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part. Yeah, no, they definitely did. And we saw some weaknesses there in Brock Purdy. I don't think anybody in the NFC has a defense that the Ravens have.
Yeah.
So for me,
I see what you mean.
You were
for me, talking as far as NFC wise, I see what you mean.
Yeah, because it's just like for them, it's like, okay, like, they beat the hell out of us. At the end of the day, it's 1 loss. And
they're not even in their conference.
If we meet them in the Super Bowl, then we'll have time to kind of make those adjustments and cross the bridge when we get there. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, flip it over to the AFC side. You got the Ravens and Texans. How do you guys see that game shaking out?
I think playoff Lamar is going to show up and the Texans are going to win.
I don't know. It's a weird game. It's definitely a weird game.
No, man. I don't see how the Texans beat that defense. I mean, it's not even about Lamar for me.
Yeah.
As good as Stroud has been, and which he's been amazing. I love watching him this season. But I just don't see how he beats that Ravens.
Julian, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What was so dominant about that 14-2 2019 Ravens team? What made them 14-2? Was it Lamar?
No. It was the defense.
It was the defense.
Exactly. So I wouldn't go head over
heels. 200 yards.
I know the Texans don't have Derrick Henry, but they have CJ Stroud. You know what I mean? And CJ Stroud balled against that Cleveland, that so-called
defensive head coach like Vrabel,
bro.
That so-called dominant defense by Cleveland. He balled against 31 points.
That shit's not gonna fly, bro. That's a team with a backup Joe Flacco. All those pop flies that he got away with on 3rd down and off the back foot and
I understand
extra 3 seconds in the air.
Nico
Collins running underneath. That shit is not gonna happen with Baltimore.
Okay, but Houston has their defenders too. They have their defenders back too. And the last time they played was week 1, and obviously week 1 is the biggest lie in NFL history. Everyone knows that.
Who the fuck? Real shit. Who the fuck do the Texans have outside of Will Anderson and Derek Stingley?
They have nobody.
They have a bunch of solid
Christian Harris,
veterans, old heads on the back end of their career.
Yeah.
I mean,
now that's not even gonna be the focal point in the game, though. Let's be honest. It's gonna be CJ Stroud against that defense.
Yep.
And listen, CJ Stroud has had a phenomenal year. He's done amazing for a rookie. You probably can't recall the last time we've seen a rookie perform this way.
Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert's certainly a baller, but did he take him to the playoffs? Now I know that's more of a team thing. Wins is not a QB stat. It never is.
Sadly, that's how they get judged, though.
That is how they get judged. But the fact of the matter is this CJ Stroud-led offense versus the Ravens defense, I don't see it. Whatever the spread is, it could be Baltimore minus 13.5. I'm taking it.
-9 right now. It's actually the second highest.
Ridiculous. Like that's a ridiculous take.
That is a huge spread, but still, Texans have no run game. They're going to be relying solely on Stroud.
I don't trust Baltimore.
It's what I'm saying. I just don't trust Baltimore.
But you don't trust what, their offense or their defense? Because
they just collapsed. They're a regular season merchant. If they were a legacy team, they would be the Gordos. They would literally be the Baltimore Gordos. Everybody knows that.
That's some good chatter right there. But listen, you tell me who on that D line is going to be stopping that run game, because they're going to be running it down their throats. And then you go ahead and tell me that Singletary is going to have 100 yards on the ground against that Baltimore defense.
Who are they running down their throat with?
Okay, but who's okay?
It doesn't matter who's running. Yo, you got Gus.
A guy named Dalvin Cook, who just got activated.
Shut up.
Shut up.
I didn't see that.
Bro was ass all year.
Oh my god. What a overrated
that
pick.
Jets
That
O-line
was.
is awful too. I mean,
I get that, but oh my gosh.
Gus is good for when you need him for the 3-yard line.
Well, Gus isn't. I don't think Gus is playing.
But just having a
There you
quarterback
go.
that's willing to pull it, that helps
Fucking
your
got
run game
hurt.
so much. So it really.
Oh,
is
and by
not
the way, do not forget, Mark Andrews has also been activated.
Oh, has he?
Yes. He's a big
Yes.
factor. It's a huge factor.
he can be inactivated.
Mark Andrews
he can be
has
on
been
the bench.
activated. He's on the 21-day window where he can come back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the idea
He was a full
is
participant
he-
yesterday. I think.
that's what I was getting at, Rico. Is that
DK, I got a question for you after he's done.
he
Go ahead.
got activated, and he's been practicing with the idea and the notion that he's going to play this week.
He's going to suit up.
If he plays
He
this
will suit up.
week, that's
I still think Houston wins.
that's a big deal for the Ravens.
I want to
don't
make
know
it
that.
a bet
I don't know
with
that
him
the
so
Ravens
bad.
have the firepower, both offensively and defensively, to compete for 4 quarters with the Ravens. That's my take, Marty.
DK, let me ask you a question. Since Mr.
Go ahead.
13.5, would you be shocked that Houston made it a game?
Would I be
Yes.
shocked? I think by the fourth quarter, it's going to be a 10-point game. Ravens are going to be driving with the ball.
To
Whether
make
they
it
go
either 13 or 17 point game.
Yeah.
So you'd be shocked if
Yeah.
Justin Tucker hit a game-winning field goal.
Yes, I would.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
I agree with that too.
That's crazy.
That's an L pick.
That is
crazy.
outrageous. Like I can't believe you're counting out Houston. This
It's not counting them
Like,
out.
this is
It's just
Wait,
saying they're not
defense-
there yet.
The Texans defense.
They're just not there
yeah, but
yet.
you can make the same argument for the Tennessee Titans team. The Tennessee Titans went into New England and beat Brady, which again, arguably is Brady's worst team that he ever had. But then,
And then
again, they went into
Baltimore.
this dominant. They went into this so-called dominant Baltimore team, and they shut them out on defense
Yeah.
as well.
You know how
Lamar could-
long ago that
Lamar
was?
boxed.
That was
Yeah,
a
it like-
Lamar
hold on,
Jackson
hold
that
on.
would
Lamar
run
had
at any
16
sort of pressure
games.
in the
He had
in the
16
pocket.
games to lead that team to 14-2. Don't give me that. How long ago that was?
Hold on.
He had
Hold on. Marty,
16
hold on,
games.
Oh
Marty.
my God,
Marty,
we're talking back in Derrick
Marty,
Henry's prime.
You're
Oh
also,
my.
Marty, and he left us. He fucking left us. I didn't mute him. I didn't kick him. He fucking left us. He'll be back. However, with that comment he made, he's also not taking into fact a very well inexperienced Hall of Fame coach on the other side named Bill Belichick, who ran the fucking defense for the Patriots in that game. Oh, and some Hall of Fame quarterback named fucking Tom Brady.
Like, what the fuck are we talking about right now?
The Texans don't have neither one of those currently. Now,
Yeah, and they have
CJ
a
Stroud,
first-year head coach, don't they?
No, he's saying
CJ Stroud,
Look at him. He's got Texans money line.
I accidentally clicked the wrong
That's
tab.
pretty good.
I closed out the wrong tab. It's my bad.
Yeah, you're over there raging shit.
Dude, I had to back up CJ Stroud.
Texans money line is hilarious.
I wouldn't count them out completely. With
So
how
listen,
you're
I'm not
saying.
saying they
Completely,
lose.
but
I'm
This
not
is
saying
the
they lose
most
by
No,
dominant
don't go into
Ravens
DK.
defense
Go into
I've
fucking
seen.
DK.
I don't
This
know.
is
They
the most
went,
dominant Ravens defense I've seen since probably
agree.
fucking Ray Lewis was on that
I
defense.
agree.
And
So
now
you think-
they've got a guy that doesn't hit as hard as Ray Lewis, but he's faster and better in pass coverage.
DK,
Yep.
do you think
Roquan
the Packers
Smith?
can win?
Huh?
Yes.
Do you think the Packers can win?
Yeah.
Yes.
How is that any different? The
It's
Texans are a
The
better
team
team.
makeup
That's
is completely different.
different.
You have an
completely different. The
experience.
coaching-
You have an
Whoa,
experienced head
whoa,
coach.
whoa, 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 whoa,
You
whoa,
have
whoa,
an experienced coach on the
Yep.
other side.
Oh
I
my
will
God,
say
dude.
today, Jordan's Love offense is better than the Texans offense today. I
Especially
will
without
also
Ben.
say that the Packers defense is better equipped today than the Texans defense is equipped today. Just on a player standpoint, I think the Packers are a better overall, better coach team today than the Texans are.
That
D'Amico Ryans is
shouldn't be
going to
that
get
big of a
there.
statement, though. I mean,
It
that
shouldn't. It
should
shouldn't.
be pretty obvious. Like, you know,
Okay, as far as experience, yes, but the Packers haven't beat the Niners in the playoffs since 2002.
yeah, but they haven't been
We're
this hot.
speaking
In,
historically.
Yeah, but you're
here,
also
though.
giving the Texans a bunch of credit for being the fucking Browns with the fucking backup quarterback, a backup running back, and fucking no one better than
And the
Bijan
number two
Robinson
defense
You have
Cooper
to
at
take into account that
receiver.
they
All
scored
right.
31 points against the Browns. The Browns.
Yeah,
lost they-
It's the
they lost their-
fucking Browns.
They
Oh
lost
my God!
debatably
You
the
gotta
best
be
running.
kidding me!
No, listen
Who
here,
the
It's the
guys.
fuck-
fucking Ravens.
They lost
This Cleveland
debatably.
Browns defense shut down Lamar. You gotta
Hold
be
on,
kidding
hold Hold on,
Me.
Marnie.
Oh my
Marnie,
goodness.
You are
God.
legit on this podcast telling me that the Browns are a legitimate team.
Oh my God.
The Browns are no better.
If you put a quarterback other than Deshaun Watson or Joe Flacco, yes, they are a legitimate team. Absolutely.
They had no Nick Chubb.
And they
That's
still
had
made the
no-
playoffs.
Nick Chubb is
Still- they
debatably the
still-
best running back in the
They're
league.
dominant. Oh my God.
Marnie, there's no way you believe this.
You're just not taking the
He's
fact
under
that
their
defense
third
is
string
dominant.
quarterback. Joe Flacco had a.
Stop
you
bringing
know,
up the
couple-
fucking offense and bring up the defense.
Okay,
the NFL was
name me,
raving about that Cleveland defense.
name me three
they
players
were still showing
besides.
out.
Hold on, Marnie. Name me three players on that fucking Browns defense besides Ward, Miles
Oh my
Garrett,
God.
and Newsom.
I can do that.
Without
now-
going to Google.
Right now?
He's searching right now.
Oh,
Look at him.
Mark.
He's
I know
fucking
he's
quiet.
searching right now. That's why he got fucking
Marty,
quiet.
Now
Marty,
listen.
Marty.
Now listen here.
Yeah, but
Now
that's
listen
that's
here.
stupid.
man.
That's so stupid.
Now listen
Because
here.
if you
We're
look at the
acting like
stats-
CJ Stroud scored all those points. They fucking didn't. They had 2 pick sixes because Joe Flacco
I
shitty
said
ass
31. I said CJ Stroud scored 31 points, not 45, DK. Go back.
Well,
Go
hold
back
on, hold on,
and check the
Marty.
play.
Who coaches
CJ
for the
Stroud
fucking
could have
Browns?
sat in the fucking second half. They would have won the game.
Well, all right. Don't
Marty.
pull the coach card. Don't pull the coach card.
No, I'm going
Is-
to because that's who calls the fucking plays. That's the dumbass who calls
Wait,
the
no,
fucking
hold
plays.
on, hold on.
man.
No, 'cause
MK, I
technically-
know you Cowboy fans are fucking delusional because you think Dak Prescott
Hold on,
calls the
no,
plays.
I've been quiet
Mike
the whole
McCarthy
time.
calls the plays. Dan
Hold
Quinn
on.
calls the plays. Marnie,
It looked
who
like
the
Dak
fuck
Prescott was
calls the
calling
plays
games.
for the Browns?
For defense?
It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Tell me who it is. Tell me
Oh
who
my
it is.
God, dude.
Who's their head coach?
Stefanski.
Evan
He's
Stefanski.
Stefanski.
He's a coach of the year candidate. You can't pull the coach card.
really good. But it
He
was-
won Coach of the Year a few years ago.
You
That-
can't pull a guy that's
Dude, you gotta
really
be kidding me,
leading the
Jorge. You
year
actually
card.
gotta be kidding me.
bro. But
There's
Oh
That's
my
why I
their
tried to
staff.
say.
that-
Hold on. What I'm getting at, their staff got outcoached and outworked by D'Amico Ryans and his rookie staff.
Who's saying Harbaugh won't? Like,
nah.
Can I
Gosh,
add
no,
my
what pisses
opinion
me,
on
what
this?
really
I've
pisses
been
me
waiting.
off. What pisses me off is this stupid coaching fucking idea. Listen, Jorge, I get it that you were a coach, but
I'm
again,
sorry,
we go
bud.
back to
I'm
that
sorry,
Titans. We go back to the Titans
Someone's
Ravens
got to
game.
call the plays. Someone's got to
Titans
call the
Ravens
fucking
game.
plays.
Was it Vrabel? Was it Vrabel's first year with Tennessee that year, or am I tripping?
it was like his
They
first
won
or second
Coach of the
year.
So
The second
Vrabel's
year.
not a good coach.
No,
He's
no, no.
not.
What I'm saying is
He
he
doesn't have
keeps
a
bringing up
job,
the
so-
fact that. Oh my god.
Vrabel-
Keeps bringing the fact that Miko Ryan has no chance to
Vrabel
outcoach
is
John
not-
Harbaugh.
Mike Vrabel is not a good coach.
Oh,
Okay,
He's a
I was
great-
just joking.
He's a great players coach, but he is not a great organizational coach.
I can understand with that perspective.
that's
To a
so
degree,
good.
I do think there's potential that Vrabel still needs another shot for us.
Oh
to
no, for sure.
before
I
the
think he
title.
does.
Yeah, he should
but-
get it.
But I get your sentiment, and that is the current state. If we're being honest,
Yes, yeah. He's a
Can-
he's a good players coach, but he's not.
He
an
won 2
actual
playoff
head
games with
coach.
Ryan Tannehill.
So
Okay.
we're just gonna forget that Ryan Tannehill was a good
Very
quarterback
high.
for an
Right.
extended period.
He was not a good quarterback.
Not before getting there. He won shit in Miami. He kept getting hurt.
He was
Yeah,
good
but
when he
he-
played
brings
though.
No, hold on.
He was,
He was
Don't make it-
ass until
don't make
he
it
went to
sound like-
Vrabel.
Don't make it sound like Mike Vrabel fucking turned his career around. Tannehill was already producing in Tennessee when he got the job as
Correct.
Tennessee's coach.
Correct.
So let's not get it twisted and make it seem like Vrabel actually made this dude's career.
It was just a
Tannehill
matter
was
of him
already-
staying healthy.
Correct.
Yeah, but it
Vrabel,
was-
Tannehill was
it's
already
what he
balling
did.
when Vrabel got there.
If
If anything, Tannehill regressed once Mike Vrabel became the head coach.
This motherfucker Jorge knows ball, bro.
Bro,
Jorge, can I ask something real quick?
Tannehill's first year starting for the Titans when they made the playoff run was with Vrabel. He wasn't the coach until Vrabel was already there. Like, what are we talking about?
Nah,
Who was his
Tannehill wasn't
offensive
QB for the
coordinator?
Titans until
Hold
Vrabel
on,
was there.
Hold on, Rico. Who was his offensive coordinator, sir?
I don't fucking know.
Well, the guy who was his OC
Was it
left the
Fleur?
year after Vrabel was there.
It was a Fleur, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
LaFleur or whatever the fuck his name in Green Bay Packers head coach.
Matt
Yes.
LaFleur.
But but that year, I mean, it was Variable and Tannehill. Like it just came together. They had a great
Yeah.
run. It was
But Tannehill was supported by the run so much.
Tannehill was supported because he had a fucking OC who
Yeah.
knew what the fuck he was
Yes.
doing
and
and
Derrick
called
Henry.
plays to his strengths. Then he got
Yes.
hired by the Packers, and since then, Vrabel did not hire someone as competent as LaFleur was, and so you
No.
saw Tannehill's demise, and for that matter, you saw Derrick Henry, who was a top 5 running back, become useless. And you saw AJ Brown say, "I want the fuck out of here."
Well, if you, if
I'm
you
just
look
saying,
at it,
and
right,
then AJ Brown went to the Eagles and became a fucking top 5 receiver.
Now, what is the conversation right now? How did we get to where we are right now? And,
Marnie thinks
Everybody's just been
somehow
yelling at
that
each
the
other.
Texans are destined to beat the fuck out of the Ravens, and we somehow
Well, I didn't say beat
transitioned.
the fuck. I did not say that.
You guys said they have no chance of winning,
Right.
which
They
is
do not.
false. It's
They
just
do not.
false.
They-
There's a
And,
chance.
hold up, Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator for that 2019 Titans team. So let's not fucking.
Who
say
also became a head coach.
LaFleur Was
Not
Who
a
also
good one.
became-
okay, yeah, but
Yeah,
who
definitely.
also became a head
The
coach. and
worst
then-
head coach in the league.
Yeah, listen, he's not a.
I would
that's
rather Brandon
terrible
Staley
hire
than
by
Arthur
the
Smith.
Falcons. Terrible hire by the Falcons. They're fucking idiots. Which again, let them be idiots. We love
No,
them in
hold
the
on.
NFC South.
let's fucking give fucking Rico and fucking Marnie here the fucking floor. I want you guys to break down a scenario in which Stroud beats this Ravens defense. Now we have Marlon
The Browns
Humphrey
defense
out.
was just
hold
as
on,
good.
Hold on, hear me out. We have Marlon Humphrey out. Okay, so that's maybe something that you guys can attack there, but we still know that this is one of the most physical defenses in the league, if not the most physical. And they have playmakers everywhere on that defense. Kyle Hamilton. You have probably the best middle linebacker in football. You've got
Two of
a
them.
plethora of edge rushers. Justin Matabuike is probably one of the best interior linemen this year. There's a plethora of talent on that defense. I want you guys to break down how this Texans team beats this Ravens team.
Do you know who had the best defense in football this year? The Browns.
it was the,
Here we
It was the
fucking go
Browns.
again.
and
I'm talking about the
managed-
Texans and the Ravens.
Maybe?
If they
Oh my
could-
gosh,
they
you have
terrorized
no
the
idea what
Browns
we're
defense.
saying.
So hold on.
The Browns played a lot of bad teams though too.
Yes.
Hold on. So
They're in the same division as the
in-
Ravens.
That's what I'm saying. They played the same fucking opponents as the Ravens.
Hold on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in the mind of Rico and
Ravens have
Marnie,
a better record.
in the mind of Rico and Marnie, the Texans are going to win the game by at least 10 points because they beat the fuck out of the Browns.
because
I
they
can see
beat
that
42
because
to
of
what?
one
I said
game
that they have a
against the
chance of
Browns.
winning.
I just think you're writing off that team too fast. But if they can outcoach that Browns team, which again, according to Jorge, is horrible. They have
So it's
they have
easy
a
to
chance
do.
to outcoach. They have a chance to outcoach Baltimore. And D'Amico Ryans and that Texans offense, and I mean D'Amico Ryans is a defensive guy. I think with playoff Lamar and how he runs and how he works and how he is under pressure,
This is
I just
not the
don't
same
see the
Lamar.
Ravens. This is bullshit.
It is the same Lamar.
What do you mean same Lamar? Like this? What did he do in 2021? He beat the Titans, but then what did he do against Buffalo?
Name a better receiving core that Lamar's had than this year. Go.
And he had a worse year than he had in
Odell
2019.
Beckham's such a big difference. Like, come on.
Yeah, because
Zay
that's what I
Flowers.
was referencing.
I mean, Zay Flowers is
Exactly.
a stud,
Zay
by the way.
Flowers.
Zay Flowers is a
Zay
stud.
Flowers.
I mean, Marty, you know this.
Thank
He's on
you.
your fucking team. But which, by the way, how do you only employ 3 fucking receivers on your Madden team?
It's because my cap's all fucked up. But
Wait, does he actually?
He only has 3 fucking receivers.
He's in
I
cap.
respect that.
yeah,
He only on his roster actively.
there's literally
today.
nothing I could do.
And
You
he's
want
had it
Bush
all
here?
season long.
Can you
He's
imagine?
only had it all
Can
season
you imagine a
long.
wide receiver goes down? He's got to put
Oh.
in fucking. I mean, the third string tight end.
Likely, you gotta
Bro.
get likely.
I felt like
How he has managed to not get a single injury with his fucking receivers, considering they play
Yeah, that's
every
crazy.
snap,
Must
is
be
insane.
I guess I'm
It's
just
insane.
built
Sorry,
different.
I didn't mean to segue, but
That
When
was
you and I
that was a
played-
good segue.
when you and I played each other, I was like, oh, he only has 3 fucking receivers. Fuck them all.
We haven't even
I-
gotten to freaking Madden yet. We're still on real football.
Which we got to get to. Which we got to
Nah,
get
it's
to.
fine. This is fun.
So talking
we
about
haven't
legacy-
gotten to sports playoff game.
Back to this Zay Flowers bullshit. Like we're gonna act like fucking Marquise Brown. His
The
first
guy
couple
you
years
spam
weren't good.
24/7, especially
Marquise
on PA rollouts.
Brown.
Oh my
fucking
DK,
God.
you cannot sit here. and
He's
tell me
talking
Marquise
about
Brown
Marquise Brown,
gonna-
who couldn't
when he
catch a
first fucking
fucking
came into the
cold
league. Yes,
at that
yes.
fucking Chiefs Dolphins game. He couldn't catch a fucking cold at that Chiefs Dolphins game.
If it's
That's
not
why they
fucking-
got
hit
rid of
on
his
Marquise
bitch
Brown
ass
now. You're
because
talking about
Lamar
Marquise
kept
Brown
putting it
now.
on the money, and Marquise
talking about
Brown
Marquise
kept
Brown
fucking
now.
dropping the ball. And I'm
Oh
talking about
my-
when he was on the fucking Ravens because that's what's fucking relevant to his tenure with fucking Lamar. Am I wrong?
Nope.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna sit here and tell me Zay Flowers is not basically a corporate copy of fucking Marquise Brown?
He's a better
They both
version
are
of it.
fucking fast.
He's
They're
better
both
than
fast, and
Marquise.
they
He's a
both
better
have pretty
version.
good rookie years.
Zay
Okay,
Flowers
he's
is
a
a
better
better
version.
route runner. He's better after the catch,
He's
He's
a
not
lot
as
better after the
fast.
catch.
but he is way better after the
You're
catch. and he's a
comparing
better
Marquise
route
Brown
runner.
now to Zay Flowers now. That's what you're doing right now. You are not showing Marquise
You can
Brown's
compare
rookie
him
year.
now. You can compare him to Marquise Brown's rookie year. You can compare him to Marquise Brown
Oh
when he
my
came out
God,
the fucking
you're-
womb. I don't give a damn. Zay Flowers is a better
You're
wide
ridiculous.
receiver than
You are
Marquise
just-
Brown.
You are ridiculous.
He is.
You are riding Zay Flowers so hard right now.
Zay-
It's not even funny. You may as well be a Ravens fan. With how fucking much
You
riding.
I'm
ride
about
Zay
to buy a
Flowers.
jersey. Shit, I'm about to buy a jersey while I'm at it. Shit.
You may as well. What, did you go to the same college as Zay Flowers? Would you know him as a kid? Like, oh my God. He was
You're talking
terrifying.
about like Lamar had some insane year this year. He didn't have 30 touchdowns, by the way. He led the league in touchdowns when he had
Here we
Marquise
fucking go.
Brown's shitty ass. He had a better year when they got blown out by the Titans.
Here we fucking go.
God
Yeah,
bless.
you want to know why he probably had more yards? Because he was
They were
probably,
losing more often. They have a fucking defense.
and you got to fight back
They
in
were
the
14-2.
game.
They were
The fact
14-2.
that they have the record that they do this year and he hasn't had to do as much, he just got dump it off here, just run the ball. Defense going to play what they do. We're going to play ball control football. Come on, guys. Use your brain.
God. I cannot wait for this game. I hope Houston wins this game.
I will
So
slap
you look
real
like the
money
biggest
on
idiot.
it with you.
You are gonna look
I
like
will
the
slap
biggest
real
idiot.
money on it with you. We should do a side bet for this game.
I'll
No,
put
keep your
50,000
money.
down.
Keep your money. I
He
don't
said
care
I'm
about your
putting
money.
50,000 down.
Hey, new season's coming up, man. I
He
need
said-
money.
Yeah, he's betting 50,000 to win 5,000. That's how confident he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
All right. The last
Anyway,
game.
Enough.
The last NFL game before we move on to legacy. We've already been fucking hour 20 in this shit. Bills Chiefs. Rico, how you
Huh?
feeling, bro?
Oh, I think we're gonna lose, but I hope we win.
Chiefs, Bills have to
you
win.
that's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're playing a fucking 0-17 team or you're playing a fucking team
Because-
that's 17-0.
I just know we're the Bills.
I got
Like,
the Bills.
We're gonna bill it up.
Bills at home against the Chiefs.
I
Chiefs
got the
don't seem to
Bills,
be the
man.
normal. Now it is a. You guys are getting the normal home discount. You guys are a 3-point favorite at home against the Taylor Swift, Kelsey, Chiefs fans.
You're our
Marty?
only hope.
What's up?
What do you think? Who wins this game? And please don't say Lamar. Or CJ
Lamar
Stroud.
wins.
It's I don't even. This is probably one of the weirdest games.
Does this go to overtime? Does this feel like an overtime kind of game?
No.
I would have a heart attack.
There's so many things to it because it's Mahomes' first away game. The Bills. It seems like this is the year to do it because if they don't,
Rishi Rice has been coming on as of late. The dude's been balling the last couple weeks.
this could go for the Ravens too. Like this is what happens.
We're
in
not talking about
Ravens.
the fucking Ravens. Stop talking about the fucking Ravens.
He's gonna somehow
moved on
turn
from
this
the
into
fucking
dick
Ravens.
riding CJ Stroud and then the Texans,
Jesus
bro.
Christ. Get off his fucking cock.
Texans 9 Super Bowl.
Marty should be expecting in 9 months.
It's uncalled for. It's absolutely uncalled for. But like I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted, if the Bills don't win this game, where do they go? You know what I mean? What does this mean? Is this just another? Oh, they'll be back next year. But like, what's next year? You know what I mean? Like, I think this is the year to do it. If anything, and that goes for Baltimore too. Where do you go if you're Baltimore?
We're not talking about fucking Baltimore. We moved
lose to
on from
Houston.
Baltimore.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Shit.
And
I
the
think-
Chiefs. MK?
It's my fault. I think this game, because it is Mahomes' first away game playing Buffalo in the playoffs. I think if where does it go for the Bills? If the Bills lose, like Aloha said earlier, I mean, kind of what Dallas should have done. Do you fire Sean McDermott? Is
Yeah.
that the next? Is that the next move,
Yeah,
or do you draft a wide receiver?
Depends on how they lose.
Yes, if they get outcoached, I would say fire Sean. But if it's a thing with like Gabe and Stephon are playing terrible,
Gabe
If
isn't
the
playing.
Saints-
I hope Gabe doesn't
Gabe,
play.
all right. If Cahill does good, but Stephon is having his problems again, like he's had ever since he came out or ever since that offensive coordinator change. Do you find another wide receiver?
Maybe
That
get
is
it
the
anyway.
that
Oh,
is the
shit,
question,
wrong one.
right? I mean, you're already so unhealthy on the defensive end. Like, how many guys are out, Rico?
A
What is
lot.
there a lot. I
A
mean,
lot.
that's the next step. The next step is how can we keep our guys healthy? Because if I remember correctly, the last 3 years, when have the Bills almost had a fully healthy team in the playoffs? It's like every year, Trey White is hurt. Something is up. I mean, when can you get a healthy Bills team, and when can you get that? Like right now, if they don't win now, I think the thing is, can we just fire a whole health staff and get in new
I
you
agree.
know, med
I
staff?
agree.
Do we get new guys? Like, do we stop practicing our guys from Monday to Thursday? They do walkthroughs on Friday. You put them in recovery on Saturday. You get them there on Sunday. You warm them up like Dallas did with Tyron Smith. Like, when do you
They
stop?
still lost. But they still
How do you
lost.
stop getting injured so you can win good football games? That is the problem in Buffalo. And I don't know if it's the weather being cold, because cold does have more injuries. But that is the problem. It's going to go either having to stay healthy, getting rid of Sean if he gets out coached by Andy Reid again, or it's going to get blamed on the ref somehow or some OT crap. That's how it's going to fall.
Their only option is to do half pads backups. I mean, that's the only
Yes.
option.
I know, right? Like, I don't know why we don't.
Yeah, basically, dude.
No,
So
live
I will
practices.
say, I think the Bills win this game by at least 10.
10.
10?
In my
I was going to say
opinion,
3.
I mean,
in
I'm
my
cool with
opinion-
that. Like, I'm not complaining. but
in my
don't see it happening.
opinion, I don't think the Chiefs have the offensive firepower
Tools.
Mhm.
to keep up with. Now again, the Chiefs
That's been
defense
less than
is
they think
very
all year.
good. It
Yeah,
is very good. That's
you could
been
argue the
why
Chiefs defense is better, honestly.
I agree with you. But I think in the environment, I think with a mobile quarterback, which Josh Allen has been running the ball more the last 3 weeks of the season, maybe
Yeah,
4 weeks of the season.
they like to dial it
think-
up.
I think that's the X factor in the game, and I think that's why drives will get extended and the Bills will win the game by at least 10. I think the drops come back to haunt the Chiefs. It didn't do it last week, but I think this week it shows up. Kadarius Toney is scheduled to play. We all know how much
Let's
he dropped the ball.
Let's go.
So I like the Chiefs to lose this game by at least 10. Now, moving on to our legacy playoffs.
Hour and a half in. Let's go. Legacy.
We're finally
Finally.
getting into
Yeah.
legacy after a much heated debate.
I was about
We're
to
gonna start with the
name two
AFC
players from Browns defense.
since we got a ton of AFC guys. Excuse me, a bunch of AFC guys on the pod. We got Julian potentially matching up against Montas
Or
in the
Lamb.
first round. I think we have Rico. Who are you playing?
I'm playing Vert.
You playing Vert, and then
Yeah.
Marty. Who are you scheduled to play?
I play the winner of Lamp and Montas.
Okay, so more than likely you're playing Lamp. In that,
I mean,
in
according
that
to
sit-
Lamp, they play close, but we'll see.
How do you guys feel about the AFC? What do you guys think? We'll address Julian's game first, since he's the one that's probably likely to lose.
Wait,
Wow.
Julian, you game
So,
right now?
quick question: how long is a torn labrum injury?
Usually 4 weeks.
He's
Yeah,
playing his game
Yeah.
right now. Forgot he
4
was-
to 5.
I'm going to. I just lost 2 of my best D linemen, so yay! I want to just share. I changed my lineup this morning. Everybody took all my starters out at every position.
Madden said, "Fuck you. We don't believe in that. We're gonna play him."
Yeah,
Julian, if you could lose, that'd be great, actually.
I wish I could just can I dashboard and just take the forced loss?
Listen. Bro. Listen. First of all,
Can't
you don't
Montas
do it
win
on the-
division?
Listen. First of all, you don't do it on the podcast. The way you do that is you turn your camera off, go turn the
Power goes
breaker
out.
off in your house. Power went out. You have proof that you disappeared on the podcast. That's your validation, and then just force him and move on with life.
Or you should have
Now-
Jorge play for you again.
Actually, Toddy just commented. Toddy's actually watching the podcast, so you're fucked.
No
No
dashboard.
dashboard.
No dash.
Yeah, you're cooked, buddy.
He's
Yes,
so
we
League
can
serious.
enforcements are getting
League
typed up as we
enforcements.
speak.
You are fucked.
That was funny the other
Wait,
day.
we
It's
can't.
over.
We can't snitch anyways after that snitching post.
By the way,
That's
Jorge.
petty.
I know.
Jorge.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, Jorge. I got
Hold on.
something for you, Jorge.
Hold on, Rico first, and then Marnie.
Julian has not clinched his division yet.
I did. Well, technically, I have a
Did you
tiebreaker.
beat? Are you beating Eric?
Yeah.
Oh, if you win, you clinch. But it says that he can still lose his division. That'd be
I don't
funny.
I don't think so. I think I pretty much
You
got it.
can. If
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
Madden
lose-
says you
Madden.
haven't clinched.
Even though Madden says you clinched the division, it's false.
I haven't looked at that. I'm just looking at the
you're-
tiebreaker.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Julian, you're fine.
Marnie, what's your take?
No, right. Gordo's losing to Jalen, so Jalen's up 38-21. So Jalen's gonna.
Is
get
he
the-
really?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're gonna move it to the 2 seed, baby.
Yep.
Wait, so then DK's game doesn't matter. DK's game doesn't matter then.
I mean, if
Jalen's
DK
semi.
wants to play King K or Gordo, does not matter.
Nah, I'm playing
I mean, for-
regardless.
Bro,
yeah,
them,
that's
it
what I'm
does
saying.
not
Yeah. If I was you, DK, I'd probably rather play. Actually, I'd rather play Gordo than King K.
I don't give a fuck. I don't look at that shit. We go out there to play to win. I don't give a fuck who's in front of me.
you could just ask for force win.
I think it's funnier if you play Gordo.
Nah, man. I
Like,
joined the league so I
Just
can play
fucking
my games,
watch
not so I
the
can send them shits.
Would that mean Gordo's playing prime round one?
yeah.
That's
Gordo's
correct.
He
gonna
beat
win
him though.
that,
But he
too.
beat him.
Gordo's
But he
gonna
beat
win
him.
that.
He beat him. He beat Prime.
Yeah, but
so I
Prime-
wouldn't- right?
You know what? Prime is actually licking his chops to fucking play Gordo one more time.
I know. He's gonna get him back. He will.
So,
No one
so
played.
Aloha won the North and the NFC.
No.
No.
Aloha lost to me.
Aloha's gonna miss
Which-
playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aloha is not making the playoffs.
Aloha and Dimes are out.
Yes.
Who's
Gordo,
17, Cozy?
Gordo's winning the North, but he's losing to Jalen. So he's going to drop to the 3rd or 4th seed.
He'll be the
Really?
4th seed, so he plays you, Jorge.
No, because I won the division, and King K lost today.
King
Yep.
K's
So that
4. I
moves
think.
me. I'm one win ahead of both of them. So that
You're
moves me
playing
to the
Cozy.
2nd seed. I'm playing
playing
Cozy.
My fault. I was looking at the standings. I was about to say 3 NFC East teams. Hold up, I'm tripping.
Right now, the only meaningful game in the NFC is DK and Prime. That's it.
Correct.
Yeah.
How do I look
Correct.
at the playoff standing?
And then AFC, it's just
Montel's
I
line.
guess you could argue Water and Moosey, but it's also Lamp and Montas.
That game
because-
doesn't matter.
Do one of y'all have a playoff picture you could share screen with?
Yeah,
Neon keeps
Marty?
yeah, I
Marty, you
got
wanna
it.
Share your screen. I know you have it.
Well, Julian could jump over Water. That's why I said that. But I'll share screen right now.
Wait, did Sam Howell get hurt?
No, I think he has Kenny in.
I think he's beating him with Kenny Pickett.
Well, Gordon said he might be fucked for playoffs.
Oh, maybe he did get hurt.
So
Oh,
this
shit.
is the current.
So right now,
legacy?
Come on.
what you see right now is all the games in so far, not including your game against Eric or the game. Well, I put the game in against Gordo just because that game's over. But you're probably gonna beat Eric, right? Let's just say you beat Eric.
I'm winning right now. I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm so upset right now. I want to throw my controller.
What's the score right now? 28-14, 27-14?
26-14.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna win.
I mean, I would take. All right, so Jorge versus Cozy, which I think like y'all can see the LP game week except for Rico, Jorge, and Julian. But like, I couldn't remember if Jorge's having a good or bad season. I'm pretty sure he said he came back and won the division, right, Jorge?
He's got 11
I did.
wins.
I was
Here's Jorge's schedule right now.
I
Alright.
was 3 games out and we rallied and came back. I am 2-0 against Cozy this
Yep.
year.
But it's
He's
playoff.
5-1 in the division.
Can we get
But it is playoff.
Jorge?
It is playoff me showing up.
Can we give Jorge a 9.5 spread on Cozy maybe? What was the on the
No, not-
scores?
I mean, I beat
not
his
that
ass both times, but 9.5 is
Yeah.
a little much.
I mean, I'm not a Baldwin fan. I think he's a bum. He's nothing special. Never seen the guy play, but he's dang, Julian.
Yeah, look at that.
Damn!
Look at that week 7
Look
game.
at all
How about that week 7 game?
look at all those wins I have.
Julian lost to traffic.
Rico said, "Look at the week 7 game. I bet it was 300 wheel routes by Cook. That's how he beat."
We didn't even play.
how-
Cook didn't catch a single wheel route TD until like week 17.
Rico played me. I swear to God, he threw like 10 of them bad boys. It's like no way.
So listen, I thought CMC was having a good year
He's
until I
not.
saw the fucking
James
The
other
leaders.
running backs, and bitches have over 1,000 yards receiving with their running backs. And I was like,
Fucking
good God.
Wait, DK a fraud? Hold up. 10-0 versus losing records.
No,
3-3
DK just gets
versus-
bored. DK just gets
DK
bored.
10 losing or 10 losing teams is crazy. But that's the
So he's-
schedule. You can't really control that because
I mean,
Three and
he's
three?
in.
That's winning?
He's
Damn,
today's
I
top.
was
he
kinda
won.
good.
First of all, he lost to Gordo. He won't admit it, but he was playing off bad internet. So
Oh, he lost to Aloha.
Yeah.
That was a fair sim. That was a fair sim.
That was a fair sim? All right, yeah.
fair sim.
He probably won that.
I think the only game he genuinely lost was the Jalen game.
Was
I
it
think that was the
Jalen?
only one he like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was a close game, and I think Jalen just might have been. How much? What did he beat you by, DK?
It was a close game. That's when
what
he
I
told me
thought.
to get good because of the tip bullshit in the red zone. So I
Yeah.
got to get good, bro. I got to get good, bro.
So he's yet to play Prime, right?
No, I played
No, he's
Prime.
played Prime. He's
Yeah,
played Prime
Uh,
once.
we
DK
blew him out
usually
that
has-
game.
He beat Prime
No,
the
no,
one
I'm-
time, and they're supposed to
18?
play again right now.
Yeah, it's 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's about to play now. I mean, I don't know. Prime is questionable because after he traded his quarterback, but he's Ritter now, right?
Yeah, who led the league in
Yeah,
touchdowns,
Ritter.
I think.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking at Neon. Prime can make any quarterback good, but I think he actually gets a top quarterback that could
DK,
excel.
has he ever beaten you? Has Prime ever beaten you?
I think he beat me when Jalen Hurts went
Last
out
year.
and
Yeah.
Mariota
Yeah,
At the
came
end of the
in.
last year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
when Jalen Hurts got hurt against the 49ers, I think he played Prime the next week and lost.
Yeah. Yep, I remember that.
No, I think he got hurt in that game, first Prime. It was early on.
Really? Because
Um,
I'm pretty
he
sure
got
Hurts
hurt
got
twice.
hurt against us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
maybe
and
he got hurt
Mariota
twice.
came in. And yeah, I mean he did.
Because I know
have multiple
Mariota
games.
finished
But
our
yeah.
game.
Maybe I don't know. Nonetheless,
Never
yeah,
really
it was the
finished our
backup
game, but he
quarterback
maybe got
game.
hurt twice.
Yeah, that certainly happened. He did get hurt multiple times that season.
All right, so how do we see this playoff? So go back to the.
Right here. This is the playoffs right here.
All right, so right now this is what we're looking at. So we're looking at. So let's start on the left side, the AFC. Bills, Chiefs. We got Rico or Vert winning that one.
Rico. Gotta go Rico.
Rico.
All right,
If Rico loses, I'd give him all my money.
Sky
Yeah,
Morney's 20
just like the
catches,
fucking
200 yards.
Texans against Ravens in real life. What about the Ravens and Colts game? Lamp versus Marnie.
Give me Marnie. Lamp's been off.
That's gotta be the game of the week right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
probably.
think that's gonna be a really good game. I think if I play my cards right, I think I have a chance to beat him. I think I will. beat
Listen,
him.
make sure you watch middle post at a trips.
Yep. And if I gotta
close
stop
sessions.
Taylor. I really gotta stop. I
Yeah,
can't let
just
Taylor.
No,
Taylor
take
fuck
it.
no, fuck no,
But no, that's the thing he does against
no.
me. Every time he plays against me,
Does
goes with
he?
Taylor. Yeah.
no.
Once he
whenever
gets
goes-
Taylor going like 6-7 yards, and he keeps going with him, he
This is
normally
devil.
goes with the run.
Don't let
Well-
Taylor do what Cook did.
how about you bring out that fucking 2023 fucking Ravens defense in real life to fucking play? Okay.
I held
Alright.
I held Rico to 29 yards.
What do we think about Julian and Montas in that 2-7 seed?
I think this
Well,
was
the
a
first
fair-
time.
I have no idea
I think
what's
this was a
in that
loss.
game.
Look, he muted
I think this
himself.
one was a loss. Fair loss, I meant. Did you?
Yeah, that
what
was
did
a,
you do,
that was a
Julian,
forced
against him?
loss. And then he beat him the second time around,
Yeah.
allegedly.
See, my problem is I want Montez to win this, so I don't have to play water round 2.
Right.
Mm.
I mean,
Why
don't
are
know.
you guys
Julian-
fucking afraid of water?
I just don't like
I
water.
beat him. I
I mean,
beat
I
him,
like
so
water, but I
got
don't
no
like
problem
water.
with it.
I mean, shit, just play whoever's on your fucking schedule. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah,
You got
you're
Julian
lucky.
winning this, though.
yeah.
Yeah, I think Julian wins against
No,
Montas.
I don't know, man. I'm really bummed out.
Shut
about
up,
my
Julian.
opinion.
Shut up,
the
Julian.
fuck up.
Just
Just
spam your wide receiver.
Buster. He's gonna have all day to throw back there. Like, fuck this shit.
Who's Montas's running back? I know he was cycling.
Fucking Kendra Miller.
Is it still Miller? So
Yeah.
he doesn't
He's got
have
like
his,
800 carries.
he doesn't have his best two linemen, right? You said your two best, or which two?
My two best, Trayvon Walker, which is my
Your
stud
best.
D end, and my superstar D tackle. It's like an 85.
Did they both try their labrum?
Yes, both of them.
That's. I lost half my line in the
Listen, bro.
room. Either
Listen,
one.
bro. I would turn the podcast off, go outside, turn the breaker off.
Nah, bro. Toddy's watching.
It's raining hard right now. It's perfectly logical for your power to go out.
Ugh.
You live in the hood.
I'll come to your house and make thunder noises.
There you go.
Just
Uh,
tell him you forgot to change out the AA batteries in your PS5.
If Montas
right.
can get the run game going, I could see him. That's only
Shut up,
because,
MK. Julian's
beats
winning.
two of his people. Okay.
All right, NFC side. We got, as of right now,
fucking hate
I mean,
Madden
I
right
think-
All
now.
right,
think
DK's winning this.
well, hold on.
DK
I
Prime.
think Jalen drops to
No.
4.
No, Jalen won.
Okay.
Yeah, Jalen-
all right,
Jalen beat,
all
Gordo,
This is,
so he-
this is official. All right, so you got DK against King K. So we got DK.
I think Gordo
We got
beats Prime.
Prime. We got Prime versus Gordo. Who do
I
you
think
got here?
Gordo wants it more.
I don't know, man. I just don't.
That's a tough.
He-
game,
My problem
man.
is it's still Gordo.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
like, I
clip
don't know,
that,
man.
so-
Second time around.
Gordo's been playing good. Is it because he chokes a lot? Is that what he's
Yeah,
been
basically.
on?
No, just
Just like
because
if he's-
Gordo's in unfamiliar territory. The playoffs with high expectations usually doesn't go together with him.
I got you. He chokes.
It's kind of like me. It's kind of like me.
So,
Where people
Prime?
know I'll make the playoffs, but people know that I'll probably lose eventually in the first round.
Did you go prime?
I go Prime personally. Sorry, I think
I say Gordo.
Oh,
I
what
just
does
gotta
everybody
go
else think?
Prime.
For the
Okay, what do
memes,
you
go
think?
Gordo.
For the memes, but like, who do you actually
Who
think?
who would Gordo?
Hold
match
on.
up with in the final?
DK's played both of them.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Played what?
You play Gordo
Prime
you
and
play
Gordo?
Prime.
You played,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, It's just
See,
hard for me
DK
to.
DK's
It-
struggling being
It's
politically
no,
correct and not putting
no.
a target on his
Well,
back.
yeah. There's a lot of shit I gotta navigate right here. But I do think that Gordo's lack of success in the off season or pro season has,
Shows up.
it just shows up. And until he proves us wrong, then
You gotta go with
Yeah,
Prime.
like-
I mean, the guy's
yeah.
won a bowl. The guy's made the Super Bowl a couple times. I mean, you got to go with the more experienced guy.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
no disrespect to Gordo, but it's whoever versus Gordo in the playoffs. I'm sorry, until he changes it around. He's
Hey,
I
he's
think
got to win a
Marnie
couple
did.
games to prove himself.
Yeah, exactly. You just need to prove yourself. That's all it is.
That's all it is. I agree with you there. All right, so we got
what
me
you're
and
saying
me and Cozy in the 2-7. What
I got
are we
you.
thinking?
I have you winning.
I have me winning too.
See, I don't think you can make that argument for Grotto and also say, "Oh, Jorge's just going to win." No
Well,
offense to Jorge.
Only because
I think
only
you're gonna
because
win, too.
I am 2-0 against Cozy.
And Grotto's got a good record against Prime.
Yeah, but like, dude, this is
Yeah.
like, I think Prime is just like playoff Prime is
Prime's really
different
good.
than yeah, like it's just and Gordo's such a one trick. He's a merchant. Like everyone knows that he's a
It's
four
a
merchant.
It's
And once that
he's
stops-
a forward wheel route.
Yeah,
If
and
you
I
can
think
cover
Prime
Pat,
second
you
time
can
around
cover
is gonna see that coming.
Spears. Yes, I do agree with that too. I think the fact that if Prime can cover Pat and he can cover fucking Spears on the wheel route, he's good.
Yeah.
That's all he's got to cover on defense. Which by the way, honey boo boo, that means you come to Santa Clara and play us in
Yeah.
the second round, DK.
Which
That's
is
right.
interesting. We've seen Jorge beat DK when he's locked in.
And a little luck and a little, you know, if I
Right.
if I do what I did last time, I sent a little package to DK's house.
Is it the penis pump?
Penis
yeah,
That shit
I
goes
won't say
crazy,
exactly.
guys. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. That
I
shit
will
goes
not
crazy,
say
guys.
what it was.
The results are right there in the pudding. I'm just saying.
I will say it did distract him in our game.
God.
That's my
so,
computer
you know,
background. I'm not bullshitting.
I have another
That's
package on the way to send to DK for if we do play in the second round.
Nah, it'll be an interesting
Jorge,
game.
who do you have winning, Jorge? Be honest.
Out of me and DK, I mean, you know, it's obviously DK is a better player. He's a better user. He's a better.
Playoff
He's just
team.
better overall. His team's better as well. We have to play mistake-free football and force him into a couple bad throws that we can capitalize on. Otherwise, you know, I think he wins by at least 10. His roster's good. He's obviously a very good user. He's done very well in the past. We have to have things kind of bounce our way in order to win. We have to make, you know, play mistake-free football. Can we win? Yeah. Are we an uphill? I think the fact that we are at home does help us a bit. Even though the momentum shit is off, I still feel the momentum still plays a role in playoff games when you're at home. But you know, I think going into it, I like DK by, you know, I think the spread would be 9.5. DK kind of favored to go in, so I take DK to win.
It'll
But
be
I
a
think
good
it's a close
matchup.
one.
Yeah, it'll be a
I
good
think
matchup.
it'd be a good matchup. I think it'd be a fun game. Jalen
yeah,
against
DK
Prime though.
DK 's
I think that's another good
That's
one.
just interesting, man. Because we know, I mean, Prime said it himself when he lost this game against Jalen that I think that was the first time Jalen beat him.
It is.
And this is gonna be one of I think this is probably the best game out of all these out of the four games.
I think Jalen's figured it out. Jalen's figured
Yeah,
it out.
I think so, too.
I think that Stephon Diggs acquisition was intentional for guys like DK and Prime.
yeah,
Considering how they play defense, you have to have a guy that has route tech and apprentice in order to do well against those kind of guys. So I think Jalen figured that out, and you have a 99 overall running back as well with guys on defense that can match up with a depleted, I would say, Giants offense, I like Jalen personally in that game.
Yeah, I think
Me
Jalen
too.
does too.
Can we recheck Prime schedule real quick? So what happened the second matchup, week 16?
Oh, listen, bro.
Is that a
Dude,
sim?
which one?
Was
The one
it?
he won against Jalen?
Week 16, Prime
Yeah,
beat.
that's a one time. That's a one time. Prime is actually beating Jalen.
Oh, I thought y'all were saying week 14 was the first time Jalen has beaten.
No, yeah. No,
Prime.
Jalen. That was one of the first times Jalen beat Prime.
So
Prime
Prime's
always
guys
has
get back.
owned Jalen.
So
Yeah.
2 weeks after, does Prime? What happened that week 16 matchup?
What
Did
was the final
Jalen?
score of that game? Does anyone know?
Here, I
I'll
can
look it
load
up.
up one.
Here, I'll
Monday
tell you.
Night
I'll
Games
tell you
right
real
now.
quick.
Yeah,
I'll tell you real quick.
because I remember it, but I don't.
I don't remember it either.
Uh, 41 to 30. Oh, no. 21 to 35.
Okay, so he won by 2 scores.
Let's see. Prime had 4 TDs in the air. He just whooped them in the air. If we're
Yeah.
going, and he Jalen was 107 on third downs and 1 for 1 on fourth. They had the same amount of first downs, but I mean, Prime just
Yeah, I
dominated
mean,
the air.
Prime threw for 390 and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Jalen went for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's pretty much your game.
Yeah, that's a weird game.
I mean, it's kind of like real life owning. Jalen can win this most likely because he has been on fire, but I would probably pick Prime if I would bet money on it, just because of tendencies of winning, And he won the last matchup after losing 2 weeks of Madden weeks before.
Yeah.
Who we like on the other side? We got Marnie versus Julian and Rico versus Water. Let's go ahead and pick Water to beat Rico.
I've beaten Water.
It's a surefire.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yeah,
I
I find a squirrel nut every now and then.
Yeah.
Me and Marty game would be a lot of fun.
It would be. I remember playing you. I think it was when you joined, but that was when you first joined, so you weren't used
when
to
I
that.
first joined last cycle, yeah.
Yeah.
We
No, I'm talking about like this year.
Oh, we haven't
I think
played.
when you joined.
We haven't played.
Huh?
I don't think we've played.
No, we played when you first joined as Jags.
Oh, Julian's supposed to agree and
Yeah, because
let people know that
year
I played
year
for you,
one, year
buddy.
one.
That I played for you, buddy.
Year one at the end of the season, Jags had to play the Ravens because I remember I had to play Marnie.
You're ruining the cover story.
Flip it, Toddy. You still here?
Listen.
Hopefully,
Julian was
watching the
Jags
podcast.
team, so I'll let him off the hook there. But I think I did handle him. I handled him pretty well.
It was a bad game, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a bad game. But I'm not counting you out. That's what I'm saying. Like I know this game's gonna be close.
It's a lot better than it was.
Oh yeah, way better. It was year 1 compared to year 3. I mean, I'd hope so.
Julian, are you playing a playoff game, or do you need me to play it for you?
Well, good news is that my stud D end isn't out. It was another.
There you go. There you
DN.
go.
But
just a game
my
injury.
My 87 overall D tackle is going to be out though. So
Yeah.
But,
Luckily, Marty does
pressure.
not run the ball.
Marty, no, me and Marty games are a lot of fun, man. We always go for a
As
lot.
long as you can cover Zay Flowers,
and it comes.
you'll be all right.
Well, I have the team for it, but Marty's been doing his thing, man.
Marty runs bootleg, play action, 96% of the play calls.
I love it.
Yeah, is that true, Marty?
I mean, ask Toddy. Toddy will tell you.
So, no,
Go ahead, Marty.
it is true, but it's not at the same time. Like the reason why I couldn't get Henry going against Jorge, so I just gave it up. Jorge's D line is very, very good. And Henry couldn't really get any block. My O line didn't get really any block sheds against his D line, so that's why I gave up on the run. But if I get Henry going, it's safe to say it's over.
Yeah, you can never get Najee going against me, man. I don't know.
You got Henry going against me.
That's true. Like if you could stop Henry, I think you have. I think you have a really good chance to beat me.
I
But
didn't
if
stop
Henry
Henry.
is hot, I have a really good chance that you don't beat me.
I got some decent D tackle. I'll be all right.
But knowing me, I'll be humble here. This is a game that I would lose. I'll have Julian winning this one because it's just, this has Marnie.
Look at you.
This has
Look
Marnie
at
choking
you
as
sucking
usual.
cock.
No,
So what,
it's just
it's
this is
me and
just the
Julian?
usual Marnie choke.
Championship.
So this is
All right,
the
so next round. All right. So pick water. That's a given.
Yeah,
Julian
that's
has
pretty
no
much.
That's all right. So who you got? Eagles.
this
We
is a
got
really
DK.
good one.
We got
This
we
is
got Jalen.
really
This is a rematch. This is this
We
rematch
got
of the year
Mr.
before.
No Show when they played last year. Are we gonna get that again, DK? Like, what the fuck was that about?
I was in a little bit of a, I don't know. I think that was a period of time where not only in this league but another league that I was just struggling, man. I don't know what it was. We had open reads, just not hitting them. That
Hold
and,
on.
I
So
mean,
real quick, DK hit the Madden fucking funk that we all hit. The wall that we all hit.
Yeah,
It's good to know that someone like DK actually hit the same wall we all do.
I've been stuck.
Yeah, I was.
It just it
I
happens
think-
to us
the water.
regular
I think-
people. Us regular people
Happens to
happens
me all
like
the time.
19 times a fucking season. To you, it may only happen twice, but to guys like Julian, it's usually like every other week.
I mean, if you kind of go back, to that game, the final score was 13-7. And
That is
Jalen
true.
was never.
I was only busting your balls.
Yeah, and Jalen was never reprimanded
In
for running
control.
up the score when he could have just kneeled it out. I had 0 timeouts. There was a minute 39 left.
All right,
Could
Gordo,
have just
chill out.
kneeled it out. I'm just saying. If I do that shit, I'm getting fucking crucified 3 times. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
At least 3 times. At least 3
Really?
times and not fucking 14 times.
And I'm getting tried for homicide or
Oh,
something. I
you
don't
be at
know.
the
I'm
league.
just
You be at the
saying.
league.
I'm just saying.
Third
If there's
warning,
a minute
fourth
39,
warning,
yeah, if
you're out
there's
the
a
league,
minute
bro.
39 left and my opponent has no timeouts and I choose to go for a 20-yard touchdown run with my running back to run up the score, I mean, I'm just saying. I
You're
think
fucking
I would.
crucified.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
in league
I'm
enforcement.
going to leave
Hey,
it at that.
guys,
Anyways,
no
it's
more
over.
snitching.
that's unrelated. That's unrelated. As bad as I played that.
Which, by the
fucking
way, hold
game-
on. I will say, who watched the Chase Kincaid game?
I didn't.
Watch the
I watched
I
the
did
end of
not.
it.
Anybody on the podcast?
I watched like a little bit of it.
I watched.
Did you notice that the previous play was not shown?
Oh, really? No, I didn't notice that. No, I didn't
The
notice
previous
that.
play for both teams was not turned on.
Really?
who was streaming?
Mm-hmm.
It was
It
King
doesn't
Kong.
matter.
Oh. Well, does DK have his on?
No, I don't, because if
Yeah.
I accidentally leave it on and I play a game in another league, I get fined out the fucking ass. So I just leave that shit off.
So it's a single person change setting.
Yeah. So like,
Oh,
for example,
No,
my
it's not.
opponent
If
probably always
both
has it.
parties have to agree. Yeah, as long as the other opponent has it on, no matter what DK does, it'll show.
You can always see what the hell I'm doing. Correct.
because both
Correct.
users have to have it off. Correct.
In
Both
order
users
for
have to
yeah,
turn it
I
off.
think he had it off.
like for example, let's say for in this
to
matchup that
not
I'm
show
playing
up.
Jalen, and I have it off for me, but he has it on. It's essentially advantage Jalen because he's able to see, okay, he's running this. He came out in this shell rather than in real life, which is why I was kind of advocating for it. You have to figure that out when you're fucking playing it, when you're reading the field. No, you get it hand sped, her hand fucking fed to you, spoon fed. Oh yeah, he was in cover 4 this play. Oh yep, he was in cover 2 this play. So, anyways, didn't mean to get on that, but yeah, as long as he has it on, he'd be able to see the play that I ran, whether that's offense or defense.
So hold on, DK. Hold on, DK. There's not many times that I disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
In real life, you have a coach in the box that knows exactly what the fuck you're running. He knows if you're in cover 2. He knows if you're in cover 4. He knows if you're running 2 gap blitz. He knows if you're running corner blitz. he sees that in the box after the play's over.
This is also true. But that's part of the skill gap. It's not on, in real life, you're a quarterback, you got your offensive
No, but
coordinator.
your commentary was in real life they don't know. No, that's not true.
Oh shit! Wait,
In
just
real
in.
life they
Right.
do know.
And I get what you're saying there. However, it's not a chess game anymore. It lessens the skill gap, in my opinion. Oh, yep, there he is. He's in cover 2 that play. No, that's on you
But in
to
real
see.
life,
Oh yeah,
it
he
works
had.
the same way.
I mean, there's ways to disguise coverages. Yes, in real life, you can, if you're the offensive coordinator, you got a team of guys up there. Oh, yeah, they ran this play. They ran this play. Now, obviously, there's going to be intricacies to every single play. But, I mean, especially, when we're talking off, let's say, for example, you're on the defensive side of the ball. You're a defensive coordinator. You got all your guys there. You can see the concept that they ran. You don't know the exact play. I mean, sure, you may have some guys that are relaying, oh, yeah, this wide receiver did this wide receiver did this. But there's a lot of intricacies to the offense.
So hold on. So that's where here, hold on. Because that's where I also disagree. So if you listened, and I hate the fact that I gotta go back to this because Melanie gonna fucking choke down this dick so hard. D'Amico Ryans walked over to Christian Harris on a timeout and said, hey, the Browns are going to run this play. You see it, jump it, pick it off.
For sure.
He said, I got you. He came out and fucking the Browns ran exactly what D'Amico Ryans told his player. The dude jumped the route, he picked it off, and he scored in a very pivotal point of the game. Tell me how that's different.
You make a good case there, right? You say, hey,
you running the same play for the third time, and I'm using you as an example because you and I are talking.
Of course,
that's what you do. But
right.
you ran the same play for the third time. I, as an opponent, I'm playing against you. I see the play. Now I'm like, hey, you know what? On 2nd and 7, he has a tendency of running this formation, this look.
Right.
Next time he does it, I'm going to assume he's going to be. If I get the same look, I'm going to assume he's going to run the same route. I'm going to be more aggressive and play underneath and jump it. What's the difference?
I mean, I think you make a good comparison to real life, right? You talk about, the coaches are going to know this, and this. The difference is we're playing, right? We're playing a game, right? And I know we're going for a sim league. At the same time, I think that's something that increases the skill gap when you're able to come out pre-snap and read the defense, read the shell, so on and so forth, narrow it down. It's going to be this or this, or it's going to be this or this. Or they come out and they could be base aligning, but you see during the play, they did this safety dropped here, this guy dropped into this hook, whatever. I think that kind of separates the skill gap.
You don't think an OC in a quarterback's headset is telling that quarterback, and I'll use a Bucs as an example. Hey, Baker, we're going to call XYZ. But if this guy rolls down, I want you to check to ABC, and then I want you to look at ABC and make your read based off of that. In that 25-second window that
they can speak to him. Yeah, I mean,
they can talk to him.
Yeah, you probably are right on that. But
that's all the same. That's all the same as seeing the play that you ran previously.
But the difference is they're not. That doesn't affect. Like, for example, let's talk about it in this fashion, right? I think you make a great comparison to real life. Now Madden is acting as your coach, and the player has to go out there and execute it. However, in Madden, you are one and the same. The coach and the player executing it. So that's where I
don't get a chance to look at a tablet in between series to look at the plays you ran before, because which has happened in real life. In real life, I get a tablet, I get to see, okay, I don't get to see the full motion of it because I think they blocked that from them being able to see it. Mm-hmm. But they get to see, hey, here's their alignment pre-snap to the play you ran, which again, I think that's all equivalent to me seeing, oh, hey, the previous play when I went trips left, they were in cover 3. When I
Mhm.
went 2x2, they went cover 2 on 2nd and 10. Me as a coach, as a play caller, I'm like, all right, so if I go 2x2, I'm probably going to get a cover 2 type of look. Let me counter that by running. Let's say 4 verticals, right? Because that's a cover 2, nice cover 2
Right.
beater, puts them in a conflicting situation.
Correct.
But I know that because the play told me that you're more likely to run cover 2 in that situation. Now, it's only good to the people that pay attention to it. 99% of people don't pay attention to what you play call last. Only
Right.
the good people pay attention, like, oh, you know what? On 2nd and 3, he ran stretch with a bubble.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I see 2nd and 3 again, I see same formation, I'm a run commit to the right, and I'm a man, which I've done personally.
Mhm.
I will run commit to the right and play man on the bubble on the weak side.
Yeah. I mean,
And hope you throw it. If you throw it, great. If you don't, you don't. It is what it is.
right.
But
No,
it's that type of tendency report that you
Right.
get after each play that allows you to better scheme against your opponent, which I think makes it more realistic than being blind.
I get that. Yeah, you probably have me like beat if we're talking realistic sense. For me personally, it's a skill gap thing. However, on the flip side of that, which is something that would favor your argument, which is actually something that you may have me advocate to leave the previous play on, is that turns into a chess game.
It does.
Exactly. And now you start to come out and you start to say, oh, yep, I come out in a 2x2. He's going to call this coverage.
Right.
And
And
this
now
coverage, he's going to call this
you're
coverage.
playing the game.
And now
you're playing the
you're
game.
assuming, right?
To me,
and
that's
now,
more enticing. That's more fun.
right. And now it's
when I play
on,
against guys like you, then I'm like, all right, if I give him 2x2, he's probably going to come out in this. But then you may throw a wrinkle.
right.
You may not.
That's exactly what the chess game is now it becomes the other person or the other coordinator or the other person on the other side of the sticks to essentially make those adjustments,
Correct.
throw the wrinkle in, make it to where now it's on them to mix it up. And I'm not saying that, when you have previous play off that you can get away with not mixing it up. What I'm saying is I just don't like, because Madden, right? We talk about, like I said, you got me beat on the realistic scenario where you have coordinators, you have the tablet between drives, whatever.
If we were
For me, it's more in the sense of a skill gap thing. And now you're about to counter with, say, if we were in a non-sim league, more competitive.
No,
you
if we
probably
were
have
in
it
a
all.
non-custom league,
Mhm.
if we were in a league that didn't allow custom playbooks, then I would 100% agree with you, because the creativity
Mhm.
of
Is
changing
limited.
your play and
Right.
changing your scheme
Right.
is now being prevented because you
Correct.
don't have a custom playbook.
That's 100% understandable.
But in a situation where you have it, where you can, your playbook is unique to DK. It is
Right.
unique to you as a user.
Right.
It is unique to you as your team,
Mhm.
both offense and defense, that I can't replicate or prepare for, because again,
It can vary. Right.
if you move it to a realistic scenario, in real life, I get film.
Mm-hmm.
I can watch your film ahead of time and prepare. Now, could I do that in our legacy league? Sure.
Right.
Could I sit there and watch 3, 4, 5 of your games and jot down a distance, this and the other, blah blah blah?
Mm-hmm.
I could, but is the normal user going to do that? Fuck no. So I think the previous play being on gives a legit pairing of, I do agree with you about the skill set. I do agree, because users are bailed out because they can see the previous play and then cheat to an extent, right? Because they can guess correctly on the play. But I think for guys like you, Jalen, Water, Prime, you guys mix it up and run so many different schemes.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you got to play against a high-profile guy that can scheme defensively to really limit what you're, and really play that chess game that you're talking about.
Right. And that's, like I said, that's something that I can advocate for the previous play to be on. is that if you're so predictable that when you turn previous play on and people know what you're going to run as a result, that's on you for stale play calling.
Agree.
So I can completely agree with that.
All right. Anybody else want to fucking talk? Because me and DK been talking for like 20 minutes to ourselves.
Yeah, that was a big one right there, man.
Yeah,
No,
y'all-
I just want
I was just
to
listening.
touch base on that Sam Howell's out until the Super Bowl. So we want
What?
to change our picks. Yeah, we want to change our picks.
Sam
to
Howell is
Prime.
out to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Give me Prime. Give me Prime.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Nah, I'm sticking with Jalen.
Nah, dude, Jalen ain't fucking winning
There's
with
no
a
fucking way.
66 overall Penny Pickett quarterback. No way.
There's no way. There's no way.
Unless he
Mine
gets
did
his
it with
win game
his
going.
Bills.
Because I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm playing against Jalen, I'm going to play man press all day long, blitz the fuck out of Jalen, and
Yeah.
make him make a
Play the
throw.
run.
Make him make a throw and play the run the entire game. Make him make a throw. And just know that Madden logic is going to say he's going to fuck up more throws than he's going to make.
Because once you get that under pressure,
That's it. It's over. It's
trigger,
over.
you can't hit a throw when under pressure happens. It's an overthrow,
control it.
underthrow. Yeah.
And if you look at all the teams that are in the playoffs, they all have great fucking defensive line.
Yeah.
That's one common thread with most of those teams. All right, so
Give
we
it a
got a predictable Super Bowl here. We got DK and Water.
we just blown by the DK versus Prime matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just have DK. I have DK.
Yeah,
getting him.
yeah. That's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
All right.
This one's just tough, man.
If I can bet the mortgage, I bet the mortgage.
I got to go DK here just because of the rookie quarterback with Water.
I'm sick of this matchup.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Then we get a
that's
damn
fair,
different matchup.
That's a
I'm
fair,
tired of it,
that's, a fair
Grandpa.
that's a fair comment there, Marnie. The fact
Marty,
that Water has a rookie quarterback going into this game, DK
Oh, okay.
being,
Oh,
his
great.
team is running wise. He's got the running back. O-line wise, he has O-line. Receiver wise, he has, the Quez that can take the top off. And he has the AJ Brown and Devontae Smith that can play the underneath game. He has a solid tight end, which has been making strides the last couple of weeks. Offensively, he's pretty compete. Nolan Smith just got Lurker, which I think is vital for DK in that middle of the field.
We
And that
flipped
gives
it.
him an added turnover kind of
I'm gonna go
situation.
Marty, go down.
I don't know that Water has enough offensive firepower to keep up
And
with.
this has been a Super Bowl before too, and I think DK.
And it has been. No, I agree. I think DK wins. I mean,
it's happened
my
twice, and DK won both times.
Yeah, with the Chargers or no,
Yeah.
he played Lamp,
Played a lamp that year.
Oh, do you play Lamp? Wow.
and Lamp with a Seattle Seahawks, and he threw the ball on the goal line.
Real quick, Toddy commentated with people can turn off the previous players they like. We have not made a rule on that.
Correct.
Yeah, I was just going to
Yeah.
ask that.
I
I
thought
was
they
just
were
about to ask
supposed
that.
about it.
Right. The only thing that me and Jorge were talking about there, and like I said, I run no previous playoff because that's how I run in another league, and I get heavily fined if I accidentally leave it on. If I accidentally leave it on, which certainly could happen. And also, I want to practice how I play. So, like in this league, I want to continue to have that same thing to where now I can go over to the other league and it's not an adjustment for me and maybe use it as a crutch in any sort of way. But at the same time, me and Jorge kind of discussed, it's more so, if you use it as a crutch, it can go against you as well. So you can make the argument both sides there. Nonetheless, whoever's playing me can have that on and, they're going to still be able to see previous play. I'm just not personally going to be able to see it on my screen. That's all it comes down to. That and it's more.
And to Toddy's point, there's no rule against it right now.
Right.
So if both users have it off, then you're both at that advantage/disadvantage.
Yeah.
If, to DK's point, if DK has it off and I have it on, I'm going to see it and he's going to see it. So it kind of works in that kind of spectrum. So we'll see.
No. Hold on. You said that if you have it on and I have it off, you're going to see it and I'm still going to see it. That's not true. if I have it off and you
Both?
have it on, you'll see everything that's previous. You're playing offense and defense. I won't see anything on my screen.
Really?
Correct.
I thought both users have to
Have it off in
be
order for it to be off.
agreement. Yeah.
Mm-mm. If you go back and you look at my games, you'll see none of the previous play pops up. And of course, I show my play art on a lot of my plays.
Yeah, I mean,
especially
you can see it on your
offensively,
screen
because of the simple fact that we
stream.
have the 2 hot route rule. And so I always say, hey, yep, this is 1 hot route. This is another hot route. Here's a blocking adjustment. And I always like to clarify that because I know this is a
Yeah,
rule in
you
this
you
league.
like to avoid any speculation.
Correct.
especially
And since I don't
a
have
guy
play
like
art,
you
I'd
with
like
a
to
high
help out
profile.
with that.
Interesting. That's good. That's a good tidbit. I didn't know that. I thought both
Mhm.
users had to have it off in order for it not to show up. If one user had it
Mhm.
on, one user had it off, it didn't matter. It still show up.
Yeah, no, it's based on user preference, and then whatever the user decides, that's what they'll get.
So-
Despite what the other person has.
So for clarity for people listening,
Yeah,
if you and I are playing each other
right,
in today's setting, mine is on, so
right.
you can see my play. Yours is off, so we cannot see your play. What do I see?
You see, just like you were playing anybody else. You see the previous play I ran. You see the previous play that you ran, and for me, I don't see the previous play that I ran, and I don't see the previous play that you ran.
Oh wow! So it's a one-way advantage and a one-way disadvantage.
In a sense,
you don't
however
see-
you want to view
Yeah,
it
because you
there.
don't see anything, even though I have it on. Because you have it off, you don't see anything.
Right. And I think it would be, if we're talking a net positive or a net negative as far as an advantage is concerned, I think it would be a net positive to have it on, just due to the simple fact that, like you said, you're able to, okay, let's say,
Yeah, if
let's
I'm
say,
able to see it and you're not, shit, you're shit out of luck.
right. And whether that's defensively or offensively, you're able to see, okay, like he ran this play, but he made this hot route. Right. And so those are certain things that you're able to pick up on, especially if you're a defensive standpoint, you're looking at an offensive play art, you're able to see, oh, okay, so he ran bench pivot, but he put this guy on a drag, or he put this guy on a streak.
He ran this
instead.
play, but he adjusted and called this instead.
Correct. So, that's something that, would be nice for me to have on. I just don't want to risk, because because
you got other leagues that you're
correct
in that have
that
consequences for
require
having
it to
on.
have it off. And if I get caught having it off or having it on 3 times, I'm booted out the league.
Yeah, so it's a risk you don't want to take. So you rather have it off for all of
I'd
them.
rather just have it off.
Take
I
a
don't want to worry
downside
about it.
consequence versus the upside
Correct.
positive and having to switch with having it on
Correct.
and off in different leagues. No, that
Correct. Now,
makes sense.
correct. Now, maybe I'll be intentional and make a certain note in the playoffs to turn it on, but last year I didn't do that. I think it took effect last year. I think it was in effect during the playoffs last year.
Yep.
And I didn't. And whether that was to my detriment or not, maybe you guys can decide that. I don't know. But I think I'll probably just keep it off, to be honest.
Yeah, you'll pick and choose if you do and when you do it in
Right.
selective situations, but you don't want to risk being kicked out of other leagues because of that.
Yeah. It's
By the way,
really just one other league, but yeah.
does that league have openings? I'm looking for another league.
That's possible. That's possible.
right. Let me know. Send me the DM.
Yeah, man.
I'm looking for.
I'll see if I can hook you up.
I'm looking for another league to join.
Yeah, no, I will say we did get Water over there. He's still waiting on a team. I just want to
That's
see
fine.
how.
I
yeah.
don't mind joining wait lists and
Yeah.
hanging out and being going through the process. So I don't
Yeah.
mind that at all.
And typically there's just not openings, but I just want to see how it's
That's
gonna
what
go
you
with
want.
Water. Yeah, I just want to see how
Yeah,
it's gonna go.
that's what you want.
Exactly.
You want a league that
And not a
doesn't
lot
have
of
any
turnover.
openings,
And that's kind of how we are, to be honest. And that's
Right.
what I love about this league. You got the same group of guys. There's not a lot of turnover, and that's what makes Legacy one of the many coveted leagues, in my opinion, because every league I like, every year I know when I come in, it's gonna be you, it's gonna be Marnie, it's gonna be Aloha, it's gonna be Toddy, it's gonna be so many guys in here, Rico, Julian, MK, I can go on and on and on. But
don't fucking say Julian. Don't be
Who
nice.
said Julian
Don't be
MK
nice
like
for the
that?
podcast.
no, I'm just
You
saying.
don't gotta say that motherfucker's name. We all know he fucking his ass.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I know it's
I
the
know
same
you
group
do.
of guys,
I know
but
you
yeah, you know what I'm getting at.
DK, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
There's not another Marnie or Rico in those servers. And that's the best part. There's no one that could be sus like us. That's what makes Legacy different. is that we flip the script and we make people uncomfortable. That's what we do.
You know, there's certain things that you guys do that other league can't replicate, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about being in both leagues, to be honest, because we have similar actors such as you and Rico, but they do it in a different style. And it's like, let's say, for example, somebody else was able to or was going to do what they did in the league. They couldn't get away with it. Same thing here. You and Rico do shit that other people just couldn't get away with.
No, we'd be kicked. We'd be kicked within. We probably wouldn't even get the comment out. It would just be, this guy says this, and we wouldn't even make the league.
No, I mean, it's not even that. I'm saying more so in the fact that, like, let's say, for example, MK wanted to act like Rico or MK wanted to act like Marnie. It just probably wouldn't spin off the same as you guys do it. That's what I'm more so getting at. And
I appreciate that.
That's what I'm saying. Just generally speaking here, I'm just using
That's
MK as an example because I mean he's right here in front of my face. So
Yeah.
anyways, that was enough dick riding for me to do.
All right.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
I did too.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that.
There's a lot there's a lot of cum on the table right now.
All righty.
All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna move to again. We're 2 hours plus into this podcast.
It's the longest
The
podcast
one
ever.
subject.
It's a damn
No,
good
not yet.
podcast.
It is a damn good podcast. We're approaching.
I think we
the
hit 3
longest
hours
one.
once. My first podcast was like 3 hours.
We're gonna hit it after this subject.
Oh,
No
gosh.
ability league.
I can't wait.
What are your thoughts?
I'm so hype.
Whoever wants to talk, feel free. What are your thoughts?
DK goes
on
first.
Legacy moving
Yeah, sure.
to a no ability league as soon as the next Madden.
I mean, I'm game. I think if we're truly talking going as sim as possible, no ability league is going to be the way to go. Now, obviously, you're still going to be wanting to dev guys up because you want them to get more XP. You want them to develop faster. And if we're talking about being super, super sim, and I don't want to get too deep into this. I'm going to dive a little bit more deeper into the abilities. But another thing that we could even dive into, and you know, maybe some people are not going to be for this, maybe they are. You just take away the entire money system, store system in general. You've got to earn your shit. You can't just go ahead and get this guy up.
I don't hate that.
To 85 short accuracy, and this guy up to 85 medium accuracy, and this guy up to 85 deep accuracy. No, you have to go and you have to develop the quarterback. You know, just like real life. Now that allows for a bust to happen. Now a dev trait that you draft matters. Sometimes you just don't know. That's the draft. That's the gamble. Now with our system, you can make any guy a superstar no matter where he was drafted at. You know, and whether he performs or not. That's the reality of it. Now, I don't want to get too deep into that. That's just all I wanted to touch on that as far as that's concerned. Now, the abilities part, go ahead.
Real quick, because I want to touch on that specifically.
Yeah, sure.
I think the idea behind the store and, you know, the coaching path that you can take is there to try to even out teams, to try to give everybody a even playing field, because
to create more parity.
Again, right. Because again, we've all,
I can understand that then.
Some of us have been there where, you know, you get and I'll use you, TK, as an example. You get the Eagles or your Trey, and you get the fucking Rams. Right. You're not going to compete. It's going to take you so many years of development, this and the other. So while I do agree with you, because I do think I think there should be a limit on the money you can spend based on your team overall. So I think you can tier it where teams that are below a certain overall can buy the +3s. But for guys like, and I'll use you and I, because I think our teams are similar in overall. Right. You and I, we don't get +3s. We only get +1s.
Okay.
Yeah. But the teams like the Rams, they get +3s.
And you could probably break that up based on overall.
Hits at 85.
Yeah.
Right. Where a team overall hits 85 or 82, whatever you want to call it, whatever threshold you want to call it, then that tiers down.
Yeah,
so
that's
that you're still spending the same amount of money, but you're only getting a minimal return on that investment, where a team like the Rams, the Giants, the Bucks, or
It helps
whatever
to
you want to
expedite
call
that
it,
process for them.
it can expedite for them, but it slows it down for us where we don't see the same monumental difference. I think that's a way to kind of make it more symmetrical where it's not as big of an advantage. But I think the theory of the +3 and some of the way the league is set up is to help those teams that are lower overalls, the Broncos that are
Right.
cap restrained, that are this and the other, still be
Right.
able to compete.
Right.
But again, but the
Now,
way it's designed, it benefits both the poor and the rich.
right.
Where the way I'm talking about it would only benefit they call it poor, and
Right.
not benefit the rich as much
Right.
in that situation. But I do agree with you of tapering back in that legacy store, maybe minimizing the +3 to +1, depending on your team overall.
That's
To
yeah.
make
I
it
get where you're
more
coming from.
to that way you work for it. Because to your
Right.
point, I think the reason why most of us do the rebuilds is for that reason, is to build a team up, to kind of go through the grind
Yeah.
of what it is to build a team. But
Right.
to your point, if you can draft a quarterback at 82 overall, buy a superstar, and then buy 4 weeks of +3s, plus a bye week, and then you get a couple holidays in there, you get a couple of miscellaneous shit in there, that dude will
Game
be
of the week.
a 90 overall quarterback by the time the season is over.
Right.
What did
Yeah.
you really do? But he threw for fucking 30 interceptions and 30 touchdowns.
Right.
What'd you really do? Did you really
Mhm.
develop the guy? So to your point, I understand what you're getting at, but I think the way the system is designed is more to help the less fortunate
Mm-hmm.
than it is to benefit those better off. But again, there's
Right.
there's
And
no
I can
line down the middle that kind of separates that.
right.
Toddy
And I can
commented.
also understand. Oh yeah. What did Toddy say before I kind of get into my little spiel here?
So the one thing Ty says, the store is all about keeping people engaged. You need to
Yeah,
have
that's a good
something for
point.
people to do other
Keeps
than
them,
just play
like-
games, which
Yeah.
is fair.
Which keeps them coming back every day. Hey, go work. Hey, go do this. Hey, so I understand
It keeps
that.
people
Yeah,
active in the server.
100%.
And I think that's
100%.
what from
it does
a
encourage
management
activity.
standpoint,
Yeah, that's a
what
good
they're
point.
looking. They're looking for people to come in, be active in the server, gamble, make your bets, do this and the other. Again,
Yep.
knowing that most of the time the house is going to win, but
Yeah,
because of that activity, it keeps
Yeah.
people coming back to Legacy versus other leagues and keeps them engaged and keeps the turnover to a minimum.
yeah, and that's probably what keeps the league as active as it is, and not only the store but the abilities and so on and so forth. So I certainly can agree with that, and like you said, the parity, and it makes the rebuilds more lively. So I can
Right.
understand exactly where you come from there as well. And I think this could also be a different conversation as well, contingent upon we've had discussions about how we may assign teams next Madden. Let's say, for example, that the better users do get those worse off teams. Now, do you come back to this conversation and say, well, maybe that isn't such a bad idea to take away the store because the lesser off or maybe the not so good ranked users are already going to have those good teams. And now these better users are actually going to have to truly earn it, and they're going to have to get it out the mud. So now I think that's an entirely different conversation. That's
It is
totally down the
No,
road.
I agree. In another league that I'm in,
Mm-hmm.
they rank the users in tiers,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's call it 1 through 5.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the teams separated in those equivalent tiers.
Right.
So if you're a tier 4 user, and I'm calling 1 through 4, 1 being the best, 5 being the bottom,
Right.
you're going to get in that tier 4 and 5 will be your higher overall teams,
Right.
right? Where your tier 1, you're not as potentially not as a good user. You're going to have more of those better teams available to you.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time it gets those 4 and tier 5s, you're dealing with teams that it's a rebuild. But again, I think the guys that are better skilled enjoy that part of it more.
Yeah.
It is a rebuild for them. It is
Mm-hmm.
the creating their team to their custom style and making the trades and the draft picks and this, that, and the other while trying to find a way to compete.
Right.
So I would like at least me personally, to see us move where say, okay, we're gonna rank users tier 1 through, I'm calling 1 through 5 just for podcast purposes.
Right.
1 through 5. We're gonna rank the teams 1 through 5 as well. And that's your option pool. So when it gets to DK and Water and those guys, okay, well your choices are the Saints, the Pats, to this, to that.
Yeah.
Those are your choices. Why?
Yeah.
Because your skill set and this team makes the league overall. You got to work for it, which keeps you engaged and makes you entertained, and again, it's the reason why you do it. But it creates a certain level of parity where
Correct.
it keeps everybody else involved, and maybe you minimize the store output at that point, or maybe you don't because now, hey, shit, well, DK has some fucking Pats, but that dude's got to do some fucking work to get there. He's in the gamble, he's in a bet, he's going to be active in stories, blah 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 blah, to get his team up to wants to be. Where now the gambling makes sense for you, but when you have the Eagles, maybe it's not. We're like, do I really need it? Maybe not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I got
But do I
something.
really got to focus on it? Maybe not.
I got something for this subject, I guess,
Yeah,
real
Marty,
quick, just to touch
chime
on
in.
it. And this is a question for everyone here, but mainly DK and Jorge. What if there was like some kind of, you could say when you brought up the tiers and you assign those teams or those players to those bad teams, what if you took a first group of guys, 8 guys, right? 8 great guys. You took another 8 guys that were good at the game. You took another 8 guys that were okay at the game, and you took another 8 guys that are, not as good as the other guys, right? You break them up in 8s, and then the guys that are so great, right? You put them in separate divisions because obviously the division has 8 divisions. So you put one of those great guys in one each division. So, for example, like DK goes to the AFC North, Prime goes to the AFC East, Jalen goes to, you know what I mean? Just you get the greater guys.
So I agree with that, but the only downside of that is not every division has a shitty team in it. So you'll run into a problem where let's use AFC West.
Yeah.
Besides the Raiders, the other 3 teams in that division are fucking good. From a Madden, not in real life, but from a Madden perspective.
The Broncos, you could probably count out.
Yeah, okay, maybe the Broncos to an extent.
Yeah,
because
I would say the Broncos and the Raiders are probably on the same tier
on that bottom on that lower tier.
Because you have to include the cap issues with that Russell Wilson contract,
right?
Which I actually really want to touch on because I am Broncos in that other league, and I want to follow up. But go ahead and finish what you're about to say here.
But not every division has the same number of shitty teams from a Madden perspective. So what do? All right, you got 8 great users. You want to spread them out to 8 conferences. Well, one of them, if not 2 of them, is going to get a good team. Is that fair to the other 6?
That's fair.
I don't know.
That's a fair argument.
I don't know. I think, like kind of back to your point, right? Like if we give the greater guys the lower teams, right? Like, you got the Patriots. If we were to take the NFL standings in real life and we implement it into next year, right? Like let's say DK got into the AFC East, he would get the Patriots. You know what I mean? Now I know what you mean by Madden. Like Madden's teams, like you could definitely fix.
But I have to go by Madden because that's what we play.
I got you. Yeah,
right.
That's what I have to go by.
That's the thing that kind of sucks.
I agree with the real life situation, but at the end of the day, the Madden teams is what we actually play on.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
Like IRL Rams and Madden Rams are different.
Correct.
Right. Exactly.
Way
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Way
Same
different.
thing for the Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Because DK could still Water even proved that the Bears.
Like I'll give an example.
with.
I'll give an example.
Or the
Tell me
Cardinals.
what team is a worse team overall wise in the NFC South.
Like in Madden?
So,
Sure.
Panthers
Tennessee.
probably.
Yeah.
Oh, you say
The
NFC
Panthers
South.
have a-
I'd say the
But
Saints.
again, if you had to pick a team,
Yeah, it's probably the
if you had to
Saints.
pick a team, you probably pick the Panthers first.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even though they may be the lowest overall, they have a a franchise quarterback. They have some edge. They have some corners. They have a little bit of receiver.
Yeah.
You can turn the team around pretty quickly, but overall wise, they're probably the worst team in that division. And I'm only going to the comment you made earlier about splitting the guys up. Well,
Well, yeah. What if we just split the guys up and it didn't come
But if you
down to
did-
tiers?
But if you did, now you're giving the worst team, the Panthers, who is actually a good team. Sure, give them.
I'm saying, like,
I'll play.
Screw the tiers.
I'll play devil's.
Like throw the
I'll
tiers
play
out the
devil's
window.
advocate with you. Give them the Saints. Well, the Saints are not a bad roster.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
would say
sure.
Madden wise that the Saints are probably one of the harder rebuilds.
I guess. Let me put it this way.
The cap
Where-
space.
Yeah, the cap issue is insane.
But overall wise, you could win with them today.
Yeah, no,
sure,
absolutely.
future wise, it'd be a bitch.
That's debatable. You have
let me
Derek
put it-
Carr on your roster who is aging with a big contract. You have a lot of aging guys that aren't necessarily the best at their position. Tyrann Mathieu, I mean, he's solid. You know, what is he going to be rated next, Madden? 83,
Hold
84?
Hold on. So to your point, DK, Marshawn Lattimore is an X factor,
Marshawn Lattimore is a
90.
very good player.
right? You have Alontae Taylor, who's a young guy who can play corner. You have Adebo, who's a number 3 who can play corner. You have Marcus May in the back end who can play that safety. You have Tyrann Mathieu who can play the back end.
Mm-hmm.
You have Darius, the linebacker, who's a pretty good
Mario
linebacker. You
Davis.
still have Cam Jordan, who is old, to your point, but it still has edge threat elite.
Is he going to have
At
that
the
next year,
edge.
though?
It,
Hard for
I'm
us to
talking
say,
about right now. If
Yeah,
we're playing right
for sure.
now, in our league settings, it doesn't matter. He's still going
Mhm.
to have edge threat elite the following year. Then you have Chris Olave. Yeah, sure. Michael Thomas sucks. Get rid of him. You have Rashid. You have Juwan Johnson, who's a viable tight end. Sure, your quarterback, but you can buy the money to get rid of the contract to get him into an offseason the year after and rebuild after that.
Right, but that kind of ties back into my store argument. Are you still going to allow that to where you give them a contract restructure for 1.7 mil, or are you going to actually make somebody have to deal with the consequences of the cap issues? I'm thinking about it more from the perspective to where you're not going to have that option to contract restructure. You have to deal with that Derek Carr contract one way or another. Just like in this other league that I'm in, I have the Broncos, had to cut him, and now I'm dealing with the consequences of having to fill the roster without having those cap space.
But your user skill set overcomes that.
My point, to create more parity.
Right. So that I do agree with you. We're on the same page in regards to that.
Right. Now, here's something that I really wanted to dive into. And I'm not saying that this league needs to be like my other league. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying here is I just want to give you a little bit of insight to how the other league structures teams. And I think Marnie was very close on it. And I'm not saying that needs to be done here. I just want to provide a little bit of insight to kind of how they operate. And so in that league, what they do is they have, and it's totally different because there's one head commissioner. Now there is a commissioner's team. However, that if that one head commissioner needs to step in and make a final decision, he will by himself. Now he's a very level-headed guy. Typically,
Yeah,
this
but
is
he's final
something-
law.
Right.
He's
but
it is it.
right.
He's
He's
it is with
king.
him.
He's king. So
Yeah.
he, at the end of the day, if he needs to step and make a decision, he will, and he does sometimes. And he, obviously, like I said, it's typically not going to work. He's a very level-headed guy, and he's very smart. Anyways, essentially, what he does is he takes all 32 users and he handpicks what team they're going to get in what division with who is going to be in their division. And like I said, this is not something that I said needs to be practiced here. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of insight to what that process looks
Other
like.
leagues do.
So
Yeah.
exactly. So for example, in the division that I'm in, we have 5 seasons that we go through every year. We have 5 seasons every cycle or every year of Madden, right? That's how we refer to a year of Madden, a cycle. And so for this year's cycle of Madden 24, I'm in a division with all Super Bowl winners. So from the last Madden, so I had the Rams last Madden, I won like season 2, and that was the only Super Bowl that I won. It was a different Super Bowl winner every year. So there's
so
parity
they
there.
stacked a one division with all you guys. So that
Correct.
way there
Correct.
wasn't the chance of all you 4 consistently run the juggernaut through the league.
Correct. And so now, like, we had user rankings at the end of the cycle. Like I said, I don't think that's something that, we need to practice here. And I'm not forcing any of that here. I'm just saying that's what they did. They ranked all the users on the cycle based on overall record, accomplishments, Super Bowls, whatever, obviously the guys that won Super Bowls are probably ranked higher, whatever, generally speaking. We had a Super Bowl winner that was ranked 7 outside of the top 5. And maybe that's due to various, things there. But anyways,
they thought it was a fluke.
Right, exactly. So, we have a division of Super Bowl winners in the AFC West, which is kind of crazy because you guys named AFC West and talking about the levels of teams. So we have one guy that was the number 1 rated user last cycle. He took over the Raiders. I was in the top 5. I want to say 3 or 4. I took over the Broncos. We have another guy that won the season 5 Super Bowl, which more people are checked out around then, but it still matters. He got the Chiefs. And then we have another guy that won the season 1 Super Bowl, and he got the Chargers. And then now we have other divisions. And so we may have a division like the NFC East that has a lot of good rosters there, is more even across the board, with maybe the exception of the Giants. But then we have a bunch of lower rated users in there. And so they're all competing. Everybody is, maybe.
Yeah, it makes it all comparable and all competitive, right? You guys all knock each other out in NFC West.
Exactly.
The bad users all knock each other out in the NFC East.
Right.
And by the time it all kind of gets to, you have a more competitive league because you don't have the same routine guys killing the league over and over again because they're all playing each other.
Correct. And it seems to work out well because there's a different Super Bowl winner every year so far in my tenure there. So,
and that's a goal. Now, as a guy that runs the league,
right.
The one thing you want the most is a different champion or different pairing in the playoff Super Bowl as often as possible, because that
keeps everybody engaged.
Environment. Exactly right.
Right. And then other than that, like Marnie had touched on there, when we talk about, let's say, for example, you do rate users, right? And you got the 8 best, right? You got a group of 8 and you spread them across every division. Now, what we refer to in that league is when we have one good user and a bunch of other users that aren't going to compete with that one user, no matter what team they have. We call that a timeshare. It's almost like, man, you got it made. You're in a user with other users that aren't going to stack up to you. So you wouldn't want a situation like that, right? You wouldn't want a really good user in a division with, a terrible 3 users. And I mean, sometimes it's inevitable. Not to say that
it just happens. Look at the draw.
Like it just happens. Look at the draw.
You can't pair everybody up in the same division conference situation,
right?
To make them all compete. You gotta eventually. I mean, if you have, it's a good problem to have,
right? But
because anyways, you have that many good users that are all competing, so you gotta spread it out.
Right, exactly. But anyways, I've dominated the floor enough about that. We're supposed to be talking about abilities right now. I just thought it kind of went hand in hand with kind of the parity of the league that we're talking about here. So, anyways, somebody else like the floor, talk about abilities, and then I'll hop in, later.
Yeah, abilities. What the fuck you guys want to do? You guys are for the no abilities. I know DK seems to be on the no ability train because it creates a little bit of more skill usage versus ability driven.
I got another something I could touch on too with that.
Yeah.
It's another kind of like a question for you guys type of thing. One of the biggest things that I like about it, I think Jorge, you said it a little bit ago, was that you just can't superstar, some random guy. You know what I mean? Like a Max Duggan or like a Stetson Benson. You know what I mean? Like it's like you can't just do that because that's just not realistic. You know what I mean? So speaking off of
so hold on, because I also disagree with that. How did Brock Purdy become who he is today?
It's true. That is true. He was a 7th rounder.
That motherfucker was Mr. Irrelevant.
Right, exactly.
And that dude is in the maybe not going to win the MVP award, but definitely in the conversation of it before the Ravens game of winning the league MVP. And that's a guy who, to your point, Marnie, was 7th round, last pick of the draft, this, that, and the other, and finagled his way into that type of conversation. So
that's fair. Okay, that's fair. See what you mean.
I think there's a place for it. I just don't think it should happen as often.
Okay, yeah. And then kind of touching base off of that, trades. I know this is like the only reason why I brought that up is because realism. I've been in a league where, you can't trade guys like Mahomes. You can't trade guys like Jefferson. You can't trade guys like, you know, like the big name guys that realistically this team's not going to trade this guy. But that could take the fun out of it sometimes. You know, some people want to rebuild or get some picks out of a guy.
Some
But-
people like to trade for the purpose of just trading.
I don't know.
Correct.
I don't like that. I don't really. I want to
have-
get your guys' opinion on that.
But I think there's a place for that because that's happens in real life. You have teams that are habituary traders that are going to trade. Now,
Howie.
to the to the level that it happens in a Madden League, never are you going to see fucking 96 trades happen in a regular NFL season the way it does in our league.
Yeah.
But I think in order to keep people engaged, the fun of building, the fun of quick building as well, because, you know, the Brock Purdy's of the world, and I'll go back to Brock Purdy. You can't do that over a course of a season in Madden.
No.
Him going from a fucking 60 overall to an 85 overall doesn't traditionally happen.
Right.
So you still have to compensate for that component of it. But I do agree with certain guys should just be off limits. Certain guys are franchise guys that the team will just never trade.
Right.
To your
Exactly.
point,
That's just like-
Mahomes would never get traded.
no.
It just would not happen.
Can
Josh Allen.
Can I
especially
add on this?
quarterbacks. Yeah, MK, jump in. What do
So
you got?
it's funny. I actually wanted to add on the last one too at the end of talking about trades. I'm in a league I've been in since last year. I joined at the end of last Madden when it was dying off in July. They had a problem and they had a problem at the beginning of this Madden, where teams are getting so strong in year 3 that it wasn't fun for even the good users to have these crazy, and they had dev limits, these crazy amount of devs, these crazy overalls. So what they did is they put in a limitation. Year 1, you can't trade. It was year 1, you couldn't trade anyone 80 overall or 81 overall and higher. But you could trade ending contracts. You could trade people over 30, and you got 3 trades where the person was 80 overall, which is going to matter later, and you got 2 more. Or no, it would have been 3 more for anything 79 and under, and then you had unlimited pick trade. Then year 2, so we're in year 2, it went up to 85 overall. So now you're 85 overall, same rules. If they're 30 and up, they can be traded even if they're 99 overall, because that helps with the age problem. Dying contracts, but 80 to 85, you still only got 3 of them trades, and you got 3 79 and down trades, and then unlimited picks. Well, next year they're already talking like,
Yeah, so what you're talking about is basically tiering the trades where, depending on the overall, you only have so many trades in that
Yeah.
segment.
yes, but also not allowing someone to
That makes
come in
sense.
year 1
Yeah.
and trade a 99 overall Mahomes. They have to wait till that second year, third year in the contract.
Well,
They can't just dismantle the team year 1 and dip.
well, and I
That was
think that's
another problem they
where
had.
Legacy has. Yeah, where I think Legacy has that solved for because they have that appeal process, right?
Mhm.
Where if a guy's over a certain overall and he's under a certain age, you just can't trade him. And if you want to, you got to appeal. And in the appeal process, it's less about the story and more about the user itself that gets approved in that appeal process. So I think Legacy from that standpoint has that solved for and figured out. You know, to DK's comment earlier, I think it's more about how do we make it more challenging for good users while keeping it even keel for some of the others.
And I think one thing Legacy does that I love, and if I were to run a league, I would definitely bootleg it, is coaching paths. I think making coaching paths matter more would be a good step for Legacy. Like, make it like if you choose Trade Guru, or is it Trade? Yeah, is it Trade Guru or whatever it is? You get a little bit more bonus if you trade. If you get you get the extra trades, then you get like the extra money. Make that matter more, a little bit more, because a lot of people they'll just pick the draft guru, which your second day pick gets a SS, because that's when you get an SS you develop more. Make it more appealing. More trades is cool and all, but at the end of the day, I'd rather be able to draft the guy in the second round and give him an SS dev, because he will, even if he's a normal, that's what really matters. You have the leniency to draft a bust, especially with the money system. Which
To
I
me,
think the
to me, I
story.
think you move that. To me, I think you move that to a 4th round pick.
Yeah, you make it later. You get your Brock Purdy's. There you go. Your 5th round
Yeah,
guy
to
that can
me,
show up.
if you're gonna do that and give a reward a user for a pick that's a superstar development, you make it a 4th round or later, because that's your
Mhm.
true diamond in the rough. You found someone, this, that, and the other, and you decide to ride with that guy. To me, that's kind of where that kind of makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I think the odds that someone already gets a second round SS are already so high, especially with this new draft class settings, that it's almost to the point where you like, all right, super strong and strong have broken the draft. If you agree, disagree, because now it's almost a guaranteed. If you look it up, that you're going to get a lot of devs with that group because of the string. So at that point, you just don't draft that position in the second or third,
Right.
and you get the SS still. I think it's a lot better if it gets to the 5th because it's lesser potential. And name me one guy that someone's drafting the second that thought they weren't going to be good and somehow became that diamond in the rough guy. No one. You value your second almost as much as the first. Well, in real life, and we're keeping it.
Oh, especially if you're gonna get the development on him, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean, Purdy, Brady. There's a bunch of 5th, 6th, 7th kind of guys that have became, well, not comparing Purdy to Brady, that became that surprise diamond in the rough. Like, I mean, Deron Bland. Look at him, 5th round pick from Fresno State. But
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Makes sense. I think you push it back and make it a 4th round later type of situation, and that way, it's a low overall. They're highly invested, and it makes more realistic sense. All right, so we are at the 2 hour and 50-minute mark of the podcast, and we've still not talked about the awards.
We still really even haven't talked about abilities. I think we could have
abilities too.
a whole nother podcast
too.
about that too.
I agree with that. So I am going to table that and segue away from that. I do think that deserves its own podcast and forum.
Honestly, yeah.
For that. All right, awards. They're around the corner. Season's about to end. We have a couple of the folks that are on the committee. What are you guys looking for? Give us some insight as far as what are you guys looking for? Julian, don't speak because you're not on any committee, so just shut the fuck up and stare at the committee screen.
I'll start, and then Rico can say his opinion. But when I'm looking, kind of what we started with this Madden, especially the cycle, is we're not going to reward bad teams anymore for just having that guy that they thug it out with. Like, example, which he'll probably see this and text me on Snapchat or through my phone number. Shooter and Brandon Smith. I'm like, there is no snubbing a guy that what year was it? He was like 1 in 16, 2 in 15, and he was 1 at Brandon Smith.
It was 0-17.
Yeah, the year. Yeah, well, Rico knows because we talked about it. There's
the
no
linebacker?
reason. Yeah, Brandon Smith. He said Brandon Smith.
Yeah, well, first of all, okay, not even that rewarding. He didn't. His stats didn't compare to the guy who
Yeah.
won. But go
I'm
ahead.
not. I would rather put a player in there that had 2 less tackles for loss, 1 less sack, and 1 less interception, but was a playoff team key player. There's somebody that couldn't they got to be a game changer. I feel like all pro look guys like Micah Parsons didn't make it, right? I feel like it needs to be more about who's done better and led their team to actually winning more. And
Right.
if he can pull out, well, I was tanking, then he's tanking. But I mean, and then not rewarding. Who didn't we reward, Rico? They broke a rule. I can't remember. Somebody won Offensive Player of the Year, and we took it away because they broke a rule. Not rewarding cheesers too.
I think it was Vert.
Was it Vert?
Yeah, because we gave it to Sky Moore, and then he broke a rule, and then we gave it to J-Mo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't think it was announced. I think we were gonna go with Sky Moore,
And then we
and
changed
then
it.
they didn't. Yeah, we changed it last minute.
Like voting was over. I think Marnie was making the graphic and all, and we were like, "Hey, Vert!" It literally got announced. Vert broke a rule. Let's change this up.
Yeah, but Jamo
And then that
Jamo
happened with,
definitely deserved it too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he got snubbed or anything like that. As far as like Sky Moore, it was just like he was the better. Jamo was the next guy up.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, which I think Vert had Sky Moore of like 5 to 10, like a bunch more catches, like 1 or 2 more TD, like under 150 more yards than JMO, like almost a 20 catch differential. I mean, it's not that crazy.
No.
So we're not rewarding bad teams
Tankers.
with great play in the All Pro.
Correct.
Is that the
Yeah.
consensus?
Or for awards, All Pro is a little bit different, but awards now. All Pro, it's like because if, for example, we could use AJ last year. Like AJ's 2 offensive linemen made it, but AJ, what did AJ go last year? I don't think he had a positive record, right?
I don't think so.
But had like 6 wins. 5. I think he
Yeah.
had made 5, 6 wins.
Something like that.
But anything like if you went 0-17, 1-16, no, I don't think we go that far.
Does
Like
that not
guys
happen
that
in real
like
life?
No, last time that happened was it would have been the Browns and Joe Thomas. They went,
Yeah.
they had back-to-back first-round picks, and he made All-Pro both years, and then he retired.
Yeah. I don't think he led up with sack either year too. So like,
Yeah, I mean,
like there's outliers.
but that was a generational season. I'm like, if there's a guy that did the same as the player that is snubbed, then it's not a generational season.
Right.
In my opinion. So like, also offensive line is very hard to grade. In my opinion, all pro. It's one of the hardest things to grade
It
because
is.
considerations, snaps, who had the most snaps with the least amount of sacks. Then you got to factor in, is this person just running the ball on a 70-25, or is he actually, if a guy is passing and they have the same snaps, the same sacks, the person that has passed more, their lineman should get the buffer because he's, there's more passing snaps in there because they count all
Alright,
snaps.
So real quick, only because I like to play devil's advocate, I am looking at the 2023 All Pro list.
Mhm.
On that pro list, there's one Quincy Williams from the Jets, Sauce from the Jets, AJ Cole from the Raiders, Ross Mastic from the Jaguars on the first team. They're not playoff teams. There is Chris Lindstrom from the Falcons, not a playoff team. Max Crosby, who is not a playoff team. Dexter Lawrence, which is not a playoff team. Demario Davis, which is not a playoff team. Jalen Johnson, which is not a playoff team, and Justin Simmons, which is not a playoff team, on the second team All-Pro list. So
All right.
Yeah, it kind of just goes back to like what I said. Like I think it's more of like the 0-17, the 1-16.
yeah, but
The
I didn't
two-
give you records for those teams.
They all had like over 6 wins though.
Yeah,
Which,
all those guys you just named.
Yeah, but okay. So do you want me to go back further?
no. So
I mean,
what?
you could, I'm just
we're-
saying that's how we do it.
What we were saying, what I was saying, and what they were agreeing to is he wanted Brandon Smith as the defensive player of the year over, was it Aiden Hudson? And then he said something about how was Jack Campbell getting awards when him and Smith had identical numbers almost. That is award. All Pro is different. But you gotta think, Dexter Lawrence, he is the best defensive tackle in football almost. All
But he
right.
plays
Quincy
for-
Wa- yeah, but
plays
hold up.
for a team that's not in the playoffs.
But the Giants, right? It's not about. It's about. Did they go 0-17? Did they go 1-16?
No, they went fucking
Yeah.
4 and 5 and whatever.
But he also contributed to one. Their defense wasn't the problem. Their offense. They had no quarterback.
That,
That's the,
but
we're not
no,
gonna.
no.
In real
You
life,
told
and
me-
Madden is so much different.
Okay, you told me the overall of a team dictates if a player makes All Pro.
All right. The fact
Because you can't tell me that a team that goes 0-17 but has a 5-type defense
all right.
is going
Now do
to
this.
is going to have guys in the All Pro, because according to your logic, that would not happen.
All right.
If they
do
go
this.
0-17, but they're top 5 defense and they have a defensive tackle that's top 3 in the league, according to what you just said, that player would not be eligible.
All right. So look at this. Right. I'm in the player awards right now, going through old convos. Who got it? Let's see. So Jack Campbell was the year one, like the number 1 linebacker. All right. Playoff team. He had better stats than Smith. Then there's 2 other linebackers. It's not loading now. I can only see Jack. Hold up. It's Levante David and Isaiah Simmons. There we go. Simmons had identical snaps as Brandon Smith. Now, are you giving the guy that barely won any games a notch over a guy who was a playoff team? Like identical, imagine identical stats, right? One guy won 1 game or 0 games, 2 games. One guy made playoffs. That's the thing. If there's people that are so close, like I said, the differential, like say it was 2 sacks, two sacks, 2 interceptions, and 1 tackle for loss. If that's the differential, it doesn't matter. Brandon Smith, there's 6 dudes like Brandon Smith, right? Now, find me how many people were like Dexter Lawrence this year. There's not 6 guys like Dexter Lawrence this year. There might be 2. There's Justin from the Ravens, who damn near had one of the best defense tackle seasons. There's who was the other guy that made it to All Pro? I can't remember right now off my head. But that's the thing. If there's 6 dudes like this one, why would we give it to the guy that was barely winning any games? That's the thing. So like,
But
Jorge.
hold on, I'm gonna. What Jorge just said about the if a guy goes 0-17 but has a top 5 defense, there is no way in hell that motherfucker went 0-17 with a top 5 defense.
Oh,
There's
you
just
should
no way.
you should have seen Hammer in LP 2 years ago.
He did that.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, he allowed like under
It
10 points, but
happens.
he couldn't score. a
Listen, just
touchdown
because you
on
can't
anything.
score doesn't mean that you're a bad Madden guy, because you can't give up. You play great defense.
I'm saying the main part is not giving bad teams awards. Like, Jorge, if your D tackle makes it right, which he looks like he will,
That motherfucker better.
depending how the rest of this podcast goes, if your defensive tackle makes it, but
I'm a
saying-
playoff team. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
According to MK, I check the box. We are
Oh,
a winning
you check
organization.
you check. No, imagine a tiebreaker. Playoffs tiebreaker wins tiebreaker. If you and let's say who's a D tackle on like Eric's team, they have identical stats, but Eric's defensive tackle has 1 more tackle for loss, 1 more sack,
But think
let's say
about it.
5
But
more
hold on.
tackles. Why would
to
I give
that
it to
point-
a guy that didn't win a game?
But I'm going to use that same situation. My guy has better guys around him that enabled him to have a better statistical record. that means that Eric's guy, technically, now again, I go back and look at his D tackles, D ends, his defense. If that dude is full with a bunch of shit around him, then who was technically better? My guy, who had Bosa and Drake Jackson, who were both X Factor and superstars, with Fred behind him as an X Factor, or Eric's guy, who had fucking no other abilities around him. Most of the team were passing against him because he was getting his ass kicked, and he still put up the stats.
Let's see. So
Whose guy was actually better than him?
Real quick,
no, you
I
get
don't think we should have used shit as an example.
No, and he's using shit up. I'm not.
I know.
I'm
saying
using, Eric as an example
I
versus
know.
my guy, right? And I'm
I know,
giving it
I
a
know.
tomato kind of comparison. In that situation, Eric's guy, and again, he doesn't have a guy. It's hypothetical for people listening to the podcast. His guy's technically better because he did more with less. Or he did the same
No, I
with
completely
the
agree
less
with you. Warren.
supporting cast.
I agree with you. That's what I'm going to say. So I think we used Shida as a horrible example because the thing about the Shida situation was that his guy, he thought that his guy got snubbed, but his stats weren't ridiculous enough for it to be a overturn. Like the guys
it
that were
was
nominated,
questionable. It was debatable. It was a conversation. But at the end of the
but
day,
it wasn't
whatever
ridiculous.
whatever choice was made was still the right one.
But it
Yes.
wasn't ridiculous.
I found the exact one. Alex from Gordo's Alex was the correct decision. He led in tackles. He had one less interception. He was tied in tackles for loss. And I think he just didn't return as many touchdowns. I think Brandon Smith had 3 touchdowns. Alex had 1. Like that is a better choice because that is a playoff player. That is a player that was competing at the highest level with his team. But
So
he also said
okay.
Isaiah
So
Simmons.
here's my counter to that. So yes, playoff team, better player, but also better supporting cast because that dude has Aiden Hutchinson playing fucking defensive end. He has Cansey playing the other defensive end.
No, that's before you.
I don't
but it's
know.
also saying how
I don't know
can-
that the Patriots have that kind of talent on the defensive line so that you can make it an apple to apple comparison when you're utilizing the record as your tiebreaker. Because if you're going to do that, then the rest of the roster composition has to go into the decision factor of who makes that all pro.
However, this is something that you need to take into account when we talk about awards. When you, and I know this is a different sport, you can apply the same, though, to the NFL. If you look at the past of MVP awards in the NBA, it's always going to go to somebody that's at least in the top 4 seeds or top 3 seeds. The only time it's gone outside of that in recent memory is Russell Westbrook in that season, just because of how crazy that shit was. Same can be applied to the NFL. We have the best team in the NFL right now, which is probably the Ravens.
But that's an MVP honor. We're talking about a
more
first
so
team
singular
All-Pro.
awards. Yeah,
All-Pro. Like you think about your all pro in NBA, there's dudes
Well,
on there that aren't in the fucking playoffs.
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying. Though, like I think
That's true.
recently, in recent AP All Pro awards, other than that Shida situation, I think we've gotten them right. Like I think the guys that won deserve to win. I think
I
we
agree
had
with
some.
you. I'm in agreement with you there, Marnie. I think
Like
the guys you
Jorge, I
guys
definitely
have
agree with you.
presented that have won it have been the right guys. I think there's been
Okay.
very little debate, if any, on well, maybe this guy or another. I don't think that's really occurred because again, you guys have a very diverse panel. You guys all do your individual research, kind of vote, and put your stuff out there. I see the conversation you guys have when it comes to that stuff, so I know it's very diverse and it's very dynamic. So I don't think there's many debate as to who. I mean, Cody's always going to bitch. Let's be real. I mean, certain users are always
No, AP is definitely different though.
Certain users are always going to complain about their guys. There's no reward for it, so it's just a recognition kind of award. But at the end of the day, it's about the best player at that position. I don't think record should matter, in my opinion, because again, you're judging a player based on their collective work, and you're looking at the roster around them. If my guy and your guy produce the same stats, but my roster's better, your guy did more with less. Your guy should win.
Right.
But you
Listen,
can
I
also
I think
well,
Anzalone
I
had a
know
better
that.
season though. Still,
He did. He led the league in tackles.
that's what
Like
I'm
he
saying.
had
I still
almost
put Anzalone. If I go
he
back,
was
even if shit has a positive record,
yeah
I still give it to Anzalone. You know what I
yeah
mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
which
just
he
that's
almost
me though.
had
That's
60
just
more
me.
tackles.
Statistically,
just
it
me.
makes sense. Regardless of the record, statistically, it makes sense.
Yeah,
But
exactly. So that's why I agree
Jorge,
with you, Jorge, on that.
you can also say because in real life, yes, the more superstars you have, it's better, right? But in Madden, you're not, unless it's like Burt with Deontay Wyatt, right? You're not really on purposely doing extra work to stop like that group of players. And really online, especially on linebackers, you're using. You're using. Everything's a user base. You gotta think Jack Campbell did that as almost as a CPU alone. So he did it great. While no, not Jack. Alex was the CPU and Jack was the user. Shooter was using Smith, right? So really, all his stats aren't coming from him being a great player. It's come from Shooter being a good user. Now we're giving away good user, sure, but also like saying that your person has more around them as the argument doesn't work in Madden because it's not that level of
Yes, it is because no. Here's why. I could double team a bitch. I can double team a D tackle if he has inside stuff or run stopper all day long, and he becomes a non-factor in our game. Now you put two of those bitches out there that are very good at D tackle. One has inside stuff. One has run stopper. As an example, I can't double team both of them.
how
One
many
is
teams got that though.
but the great ones do. The great ones are going to show up on your nomination list. Are going to have them.
Majority of teams.
The same guy that leads a league, I'll give an example. Water. For an example, I'm using it as an example. Water. Don't kill me. He has a great defensive line. He also leads the league in interceptions by safeties.
Yep.
Do you think that's a fucking coincidence? Do you think it's by luck that the
that could
guy
be
that
a
has the
user
best?
thing though.
No, because he can't use the fucking four guys on the defensive line. He can't use all four of them.
Cooked.
But again, he leads the league in interceptions with his safeties. You look at his safeties, his two guys are 1 and 2 in interceptions. Do you think that's a coincidence? Oh, and by the way, he's also top 5 in rushing yards allowed. Do you think that's a coincidence? No. It all works hand in hand. Now, find me. Here's a task. Find me a non-ability player in the top 5 in a category. Because those guys are
water
guys.
safety, water strong safety. Brandon Jones.
No, he devved him down.
He devved him down, but he's still a star now.
It doesn't matter. He devved him down. He was at one
Kenny
point
Walker.
a superstar, and he devved him down. So, bro had abilities when he was making those fucking picks.
JOK star.
Find me.
Leads the league in tackles.
What's that?
JOK star leads the league in tackles. That's
Who
a
is it?
user. Jeremiah from the Browns. He's on the Vikings. He's on.
You can't use that because they've gone through 2 fucking users.
And
That's not LJ, nor is that Randy. Like, who the fuck did that?
Denzel.
You know what I mean?
No, I see what you mean.
And by the way, they have Myles Garrett, who's the best fucking defensive line in the league. And they have Denzel Ward, who's pretty good at covering.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jorge. I mean, when I do these myself, I look at the stats more than I do at the team record. I just did. If you could look back at the chats, I liked Anzalone better than Smith at the time, regardless of shit.
No, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying as a
That's just how I
general-
look at it.
Right. That's what's one scope of lens of how you create your nomination form.
Yeah. This
Right.
is this
And
is
again, that's why
conversation between you and MK. But I'm
Yeah,
telling you my
I think
standpoint.
that's why there's 5 of you
Exactly.
doing it, because it creates an odd number of individuals that each have a distinct, different opinion on how they look at it.
Right.
But again,
Bring it to
you
diversity.
translate to real life. We can't get the fucking college football right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Always gonna be a
These
fucking
these are old
SEC team.
motherfuckers that are paid billions of dollars to make a fucking decision on what the best 4 teams are, and they still
Yeah.
don't get it right.
No, absolutely not.
So, trust me, I'm glad I don't do what you do, but at all. But again, I think there's more thought that goes into it than just a
Yeah,
record.
that was a really good point that you brought up, though, is the fact that the supporting cast behind it.
The supporting cast makes a big deal.
It
Makes
does.
a big
It
deal because
really
I mean,
does.
I'll use my own guy, and I'll call myself out as an example. I don't know that my D tackle does as well as he does if he doesn't play next to Nick Bosa, who has
Right.
edge threat elite and gets doubled. You know, most of the time when I play, he gets single coverage because he benefits from it. He doesn't get double teamed. If he was on a different team that doesn't have that, he probably gets doubled more often than not, and he doesn't have the same statistical record.
Exactly.
So I think that's all that I was trying to do. But no, I don't envy your jobs at all. You guys have a very, very tough political job to do. So
Yeah,
wish
I
you
got
guys the best. But by the way, Nick Blanky, find a way to get him on your list, regardless of what I said for the last 20 minutes. What else? We are. So by the way, I will say, before we do our goodbyes and all the other fun shit, today is actually 3 days away from the People's Podcast 1 year anniversary.
Oh shit!
nice.
So January 22nd of 2023 was the first time we launched the People's Podcast. So we are 3 days away. So this will probably be the last podcast before we cross that mark. So I will say I appreciate you fellas jumping on, and 1 year in, hopefully many to go.
Yeah.
Dubs.
So with that, we are at the 3 hour, 15-minute mark. I always give you guys your parting choice where you guys can address the league. We have a couple of viewers listening on still at the 1 a.m. Oh shit, DK's gonna kill us because that dude's gonna wake up in like 2.5 hours to fucking go to work.
I'm chilling, man. I enjoyed my time.
We appreciate you, but
Yeah, you can't play his league game though.
Yeah, what the fuck's that about, dude?
Yeah, bro.
Didn't envision a 3-hour podcast, but I enjoyed it.
I told a guy I'd play him after this podcast. Little did he know.
little do you know, it'd be 3 hours later.
I think.
With that being said, I'm gonna give you guys all your 15 seconds to kind of address the league, say what you want. With the guy that has the earliest bedtime and should be asleep by now. DK, we'll start with you. We'll go DK, MK, Rico, and then Marnie. You'll close us out, my friend. So with that being said, my guy, DK, the floor is.
Yeah, man. I mean, this was a good pod. I think we still have a lot of content that we can get into. We didn't really get to touch on the abilities much. We all got kind of sidetracked, whether that was like my real games or legacy or just a variety of different other stuff. But yeah, still a lot to get into.
That was a good podcast. Made it to 1 a.m. Let's go. Wish everyone good luck in their playoff games.
I hope we don't choke. I probably will. Go Bills and go Texans because fuck the Ravens.
Yeah, it was a great pod. Like DK said, kind of wish we touched more based on the abilities, but we had our fun. We got a little heated with the Ravens Texans conversation, but to finish it off, Texans money line.
There's no fucking way the Texans win. So, Martin, if you want to do a little side bet, I got you. Other than that, fellas, I appreciate it again. Great pod. Abilities is definitely on top priority for our next pod. Hopefully soon, next couple of days. I like to do this a little more regularly. Get some more people involved in the pod. It's always great when we get some new, fresh blood into it. Thank you guys for listening. 3 hours plus on the pod is definitely nothing to be too shabby on, and always a great time. Until next time, appreciate you.